And adding lustre to a special occasion, and they're taking the teams around as you've been watching. Well, last year was a day of intense heat on Munster Fining's big day in Limerick. It's very, very hot again today. Beautiful weather conditions as Donald O'Grady and Patrick Cronin lead their teams. Jimmy Barry Murphy has prepared his, and you can be sure that TJ Ryan has done exactly the same with Limerick. What an atmosphere, it is quite incredible. The last big day here, it's not the final day. The Cork County Championship finals will be played here in the autumn as per usual, but after that, well, there'll be a new stadium and a new beginning. But today, well, it's all about these two teams. Michael, what are your thoughts right now?
Well, Jerry, I said last week, I always loved the Leinster final as a player, but I always loved the Munster final as a spectacle. I loved going to them as a young lad, and since I got involved with our team, it's a fantastic atmosphere down here in Cork today. The colour, there's brilliant excitement, there's great sense of anticipation that you always get in a Munster final, regardless of the back door or everything else. To win a Munster medal means so much to these players, and the lads were mentioning it there. You know, Cork haven't won that as a team. Limerick won last year. They want to go back to back to prove that they're great champions. I think that's a huge motivation factor for Limerick today, that they haven't got the respect that they deserve, and that's a great thing to have in a dressing room. I think I fancy Limerick. I think that I think where Cork are going to maybe struggle slightly is against Clare. They went man for man. They knew what Clare were going to do. They preempted it, but today Limerick will go more traditional up front, and I think it'll be the first real test at full back and centre back for Damien Cahalane and Mark Ellis in a big Munster final game, and that might be too much for them to handle.
Well, just before the action gets underway, there's going to be a minute's silence now, and this is to remember some people who passed away very sadly recently, and among them is Dennis Lyons from the Blarney Club. Dennis, of course, a former Minister of State, and he was Irish Cultural Officer of Cork GAA on 2 occasions, served 2 terms of 3 years. Also, a man who passed away recently was the great Flor Hayes. You might remember him from the Cork football team that played against Meath back in 1967. And then finally, we're also remembering now Mrs. Olga McGrath, and she was the widow of the late Joe McGrath. She was truly the strength behind a great man. Yeshlov Day, Gorev Anand Russell. Day to determine who's best down south. All set for the last Munster final in the old Páirc Chaoimh. Will Limerick win another one here, or can Cork make up for last year's loss? The referee is Brian Gavin. It's his birthday today. 21 plus VAT, I'm told. The man who's come from Offaly, his second time to handle a Munster final at Páirc Chaoimh. Cork won the toss. They play from right to left in the first half, which means they're against the breeze. And the 125th Munster hurling final gets underway. And straight away it is Limerick who gained the first possession with Wayne McNamara. So a chance for them to put over an early point here. They're calling out Shane Dowling to take it. Player has got 2 goals and 9 points from his only match so far in this year's championship. This, of course, is Cork's 4th match. So out comes Shane Dowling, was used, of course, substitute last year when John Allen was the manager. So here's a chance from just outside his own 65-metre line. Breeze behind him, and an opportunity to push Limerick into the lead straight away. On a day of perfect weather conditions, he puts it wide.
Yeah, that's unusual for normally very, very dependable on the freeze. And just looking up the field, I see Pat Horgan at full forward being picked up by Seamus Hickey. Now that won't particularly suit Limerick, I think, because Richie McCarthy would be more comfortable on the edge of the square rather than out in the corner.
That time it's touched on by Bill Cooper. Comes back into the middle again as far as Paul Brown. Laid off quickly as far as the captain, Donal O'Grady. Into a two-man inside forward line. Balanced beautifully by Graham Mulcahy. Mulcahy sees that one go off the goalkeeper's stick, Anthony Nash, and we have the first 65 of the game. Took a really good position up that time. It was a lovely ball through to Graham Mulcahy.
Absolutely, great ball there by Donal O'Grady. Right in, saw the run from, if you see Graham Mulcahy coming across, and a brilliant first touch there. Absolutely class, brought it down, and he went for the goal. And the goalie, it wasn't, I don't think there was any danger of it going in, and Anthony Nash did the right thing. He just blocked it away for a 65.
Not sure if he had an option to pull it back across the square that time. There was one other player in support of him. So this second scoring opportunity for Shane Dowling. The last one was 20 metres further back. So now he will be looking to put this one over. Won't want to miss a second one. And there's a big cheer, and it's from the Cork fans because he has missed another one. Two missed opportunities then for the 21-year-old.
Yeah, that's just nerves, Jared, the occasion. It's a huge occasion here, and very unlike him. He's normally very, very reliable, but they're two very easy chances at this level, and you'd normally expect him to put them over.
Cork now trying to launch their first attack. That's a cross over there and gathered in well by Seamus Harnedy, one of the stars of last year. Trying to get a return pass, comes to Patrick Cronin instead. Took the shoulder, driving it off his left, looking to put Cork in front, but it's going to drop into the hands of Nicky Quaid. Nicky Quaid going very, very long. David Breen has come out into the half-forward line. It's interesting that Damien Cahalane has followed him out there. That was probably expected. Shane O'Neill, straight through the centre here, over the head this time of Conor Lehan. They battle for it in the corner, and it's Seamus Hickey who wins it. Patrick Horgan tries to get back, and the referee deciding there was a foul, and it's by the Cork man. Free out to Limerick.
Yeah, if you watch Seamus Hickey here, he took it up and burst out at Pat Horgan. It looked to die, a little bit of a pull back, but the legs went from under Seamus Hickey very easy there. And just looking in there, you mentioned Shane Dowling, he's gone to full forward, and Shane O'Neill at full back, Damien Cahalane at left half back on David Breen, and Cork again picking men-to-men markers in the defence.
Nicky Quaid taking this towards David Breen, couldn't collect it, however. Runs on neatly here, however, as far as Donal O'Grady. O'Grady tried to cut inside, tracking him back there was Daniel Carney. One back here in the end by Stephen McDonnell, and as McDonnell was ready to clear, he was hooked. James Ryan, who had a wonderful match in the semi-final for Limerick. This time it's taken away by Mark Ellis, happily recovered from injury. Aidan Walsh now, his first possession. Charging forward here, Mulcahy's after him, but Walsh got it up on his stick and put it to the left, and he's put it wide. First wide of the match for Cork. Aidan Walsh, who of course played in that Munster final against Kerry in football 7 days ago, wants to banish the memory of that pretty quickly, I'm sure. Nicky Quaid to take this.
Sorry, Jared, tremendous covering there by Graham Mulcahy. Great defence, first of all, by Cork, and Aidan Walsh thought he'd get away from Mulcahy, but he couldn't do so.
Showed a great attitude, as you suggest there. David Breen catches this one. That's one of the reasons why he's in there, to be able to take those catches from Nicky Quaid's puck outs or frees. And that was beautifully taken in by David Breen. He was a real star, of course, a centre half back from the Páirc during the club championship, but back to his usual role for Limerick. And now third time of asking Shane Dowling. As Michael Dagnan was suggesting, he did look nervous early on. This is an easier one, this is a handier one for him, and he makes absolutely sure. 1 out of 3. And it becomes the opening score of this match, which has taken over 5 minutes to produce.
Yeah, and I think Limerick deserving of, there could be a couple of points up. They're settled very well around the field, and as you said, David Breen, they're a big asset for his height, and he's a great hand on him there going forward. This
is in towards the centre forward, comes off Cooper's stick, taken in neatly here and forward once again, this time by Harnedy. Was Alan Cadigan. Limerick trying to clear their lines. Wayne McNamara waiting for Tom Condon to come. Condon trying to keep it away and succeeding at giving away from Conor Lehan, but out over the sideline under that intense pressure, and it's going to be a line ball to Cork. TJ Ryan made his debut as a 19-year-old against Cork back in 1994. Lots of memories of playing against Cork. Now managing Limerick at a Munster final, senior for the first time ever. Cooper now across the face of goal here, easily one taken by Nicky Quaid. Nicky Quaid, who made his debut here as an outfield player. Up as far as Kevin Downs, this one holds onto it, just waited long enough for Donald O'Grady to take it in his stride, taking it off his left hand side, and this is another one that's gone wide. That's of concern now. That's already 3 wides, 2 from frees and that first one from play.
Yeah, great play again though by Kevin Downs. He came out in front and maybe a little hand pass. He passed it a bit high off the hurl to Donald O'Grady. He had to break his stride, but you'd expect him to put that one over, and as you say, another unforced wide.
Cork's 2 backs get this ball under control. Damien Cahalane as far as Stephen McDonnell, and eventually the clearance. Good direct play out, but not a good ball. Mopped up by Wayne McNamara, such a good number 6. Back down to David Breen. Second time he's got on the ball. David Breen looking for another one for Limerick. It's a close run thing. It strikes the upright and goes outside. He's very unlucky.
Well, normally, you know, against a team like Cork, it's a Munster final. They can't afford those to be missing those chances. Jared, again, he missed his first touch, but still walked around Damien Cahalane as if he wasn't there, and should have put it over the bar. And unlucky, I know it hit the top of the post, but it should have been over.
Once again it goes to right half forward here. Cooper comes onto it after that, and the final shot is by Lorcan McLaughlin, and that one has also gone wide. So just a point to show for the opening 7.5 minutes. Jimmy Barry Murphy just waiting for his side to get their first point, just to try and settle them down here. Huge occasion, 125th Munster hurling final being played. Nicky Quaid playing in his 16th championship match, again targeting David Breen, and Breen knocks it down. This time there's a player anticipating. It was James Ryan, and Ryan hits this one beautifully over. So point to come from general play here, scored by James Ryan. A lovely little knockdown by Breen.
Yeah, absolutely, and James Ryan had a fantastic game. But if you look at the way Limerick are lining up, David Breen, Donald O'Grady and Declan Hannon, a very tall physical half forward line, with Shane Downing at full forward and Kevin Downs out in the corner, which is unusual.
That was a good hook that time, as Paulie O'Brien was about to play that ball away. Bill Cooper from Youghal just getting the stick in.
Yeah, and Cork will be just looking for a score just to settle them down. You know, really, they've had a couple of half chances up to now, but they need a score. 8.5 minutes gone, no score on the board.
Aidan Walsh capable of putting it over from here, from the sideline, but that's drifting away to the right hand side. Patrick Horgan can keep it in play. Alan Cadigan calling for it, doesn't use him, tries to make an angle. That's really to nobody in particular other than James Ryan, who shows his ability to work hard, goes back, delivers. Fluffed there by Ellis. Back here once again to Graham Mulcahy. Had an earlier shot which was deflected by the goalkeeper, and this one sails perfectly over the bar, and it's another one for Limerick. They may have missed some scores early on from frees, but now they have settled into their rhythm.
And David Breen again, the key man. Mulcahy did very well to break the ball. He was against 2 men, but David Breen came in. Lovely hook there by Bill Cooper, we saw earlier. But Limerick have settled now and a few 3 points up, and as I said, Cork need a score just to settle into the game.
This time it's Aidan Walsh who took that break. This is an easy chance for him, and it's put over the bar. It's taken 9.5 minutes, but it's now 3 points to 1. And Cork now will settle down, you feel. And it's Aidan Walsh who's come to the hurling team this year, playing in just his 4th championship match. Good score.
Yeah, he's been a tremendous asset to the hurling team, and he's full of running out there. You know, that's his 2nd chance, and he's covering an awful lot of ground already.
This puck out from Quaid goes where? Straight to Breen again. He got a touch to it, and Graham Mulcahy is in. Oh, the referee has blown his whistle as Stephen McDonnell ended up on the ground. And the referee just indicating there was a foul there on McDonnell.
Yeah, we watch it again here. The ball breaks inside, Mulcahy goes for it, and just see a tiny little nudge there, and Stephen McDonnell went over very easy, but Graham Mulcahy denied a goal chance.
He's looking dangerous, Graham Mulcahy, as this ball comes back out here as far as Connolly Hahn. Wrong foot, Paddy O'Brien. Tricky angle, but a good score by Connolly Hahn. Back on a ground where he scored 2 goals and 10 points in last year's county final out of 215, and 2 of 7 of those were from general play. Quick puck out, taken as far as Paul Brown, played off as far as midfield partner James Ryan, all the way in there towards Shane Dowling, waiting for it to come down. That was Shane O'Neill getting it away. Mark Ellis going after it, making sure of it, spotting that Aidan Walsh was totally unmarked just outside his own 45-metre line. Across to right half forward, but nobody there except Tom Condon. Back out quickly here as far as Declan Hannon. First time he's been involved in the play. Oh, it's a huge one from Hannon. How about that for a first involvement? Absolutely spectacular point from a massive distance out to make it 4-2.
Yeah, look at the ball from Tom Condon, but on his left side from the far 65, that is a brilliant score by Declan Hannon, and we're beginning to see both teams settling down now. The game is opening up, some great hurling, and a great catch by Pat Cronin there. And
Cronin getting it inside into the inside forward line quickly as far as Seamus Harnedy. Final shot from Harnedy, however, was neither a pass nor a shot. Paul Brown takes it, drives it straight down through the centre, where Limerick will feel there is an advantage to be gained. And Cork's defence in trouble. Shane O'Neill leaving it there, and Graham Mulcahy sees it blocked. Back down again, it comes to Kevin Downs, and Downs gets the shot away and gets it over the bar. Already 4 of the Limerick forwards have scored.
Yeah, Jared, they're dominating, and I think if you look at Graham Mulcahy at the first time, Donald O'Grady was inside completely on his own if he could have flicked it inside, and when it brought back to Kevin Downs, a good score. And there's Pat Cronin, that's his second puck out in a row now that he's won.
And from that it goes straight up towards Cadigan there, but Alan Cadigan so far hasn't managed to get into the game. But we saw Patrick Cronin once again use that big hand of his, win possession for Cork from those puck outs. Ends up being a Limerick possession, which Tom Condon is going to take.
And some great matchups today, Jerry, the middle of the field. I think James Ryan and Brown against Aidan Walsh and Daniel Carney, but I think this one between Tom Condon and Alan Cadigan can have a major bearing on the game. Condon is an outstanding hurling cornerback, and Alan Cadigan has been on fire for Cork this summer so far. 8
points so far this summer. Hasn't got a chance so far, but then he's a dangerous kind of player who will take marking for the full 70 minutes as James Ryan lobs it in towards Shane Dowling. Other players looking for the breaks. Graham Mulcahy again looks dangerous. 30 stopped. And away by Stephen McDonnell, out as far as Aidan Walsh. Nobody picking up Aidan Walsh. That's 3 or 4 times now he's managed to get on the ball. Up as far as Cadigan, fumbles it, leaves it behind to Wayne McNamara. And Wayne Mack, as they call him in Limerick, hits it away down and over the sideline. It'll be a Cork line ball. Graham Mulcahy is looking a real handful for Jimmy Barry Murphy's backs.
I think all the forwards, the Limerick forwards, are looking very, very sharp. They're all individually, most of them are on top. They're beating their men and they're creating a lot of chances.
That's taken by Chris Joyce. In here as far as Daniel Carney. And carried on further by Lorcan McLaughlin. One for Patrick Horgan to try and keep in play. Succeeds in that particular part of the exercise, but then it's 2 against 1. And Richie McCarthy, who had a marvellous semi-final against Tipperary, hits it a huge distance, down onto the 13-metre line, down towards Dowling, bounces off his hand. Once again Mulcahy doesn't get enough on that, however. No difficulty for Anthony Nash to sweep it way out of danger. Out towards Daniel Carney, runs on from him as far as Connolly Hahn, who switched wings. Started on the left, he's back out on the right, and he shows some dashing form and puts it over. A second for him. He's got to take some minding for Paddy O'Brien, his marker.
Yeah, and that's another tremendous score from Lahan, and what a hurler he is in full flow. You see him just running away from his man, shortens up the grip and over the bar, and that's maybe one thing I would have noted last year, maybe a slight lack of pace in the Limerick half-back line, and with Conor Lahan and Seamus Harnedy in full flow, they will put them under a lot of pressure.
It strikes me he's a confidence type of player. By that I mean if he gets into a run and can get a couple of scores on the board, he's likely to do a lot of damage.
He can do a huge lot of damage, a fantastic player. And just on the other end of the field, I think a lot of high ball being played in by Limerick. You know, whereas if I, with Graham Mulcahy in there, maybe they should be playing a bit more ball in front of him. Richie McCarthy down injured there as well, but I think Kevin Downs might be more effective at full forward if they are going with the high ball.
Well, this is a real concern for Richie McCarthy. I was mentioning that terrific performance he put in against Tipperary in the semi-final for TJ Ryan and his team. TJ Ryan, Paul Beery and David Clark there as well.
Yeah, he looks to be in considerable trouble, Ger, and it's such a vital part of that Limerick rear guard. If he had to go, it'd be a huge loss.
Well, if it's the ankle and he's just turned on it there, that's not going to recover quickly. And he has become the mainstay of that full back. They have Tom Condon, they've Seamus Hickey as well. A lot of experience there, but he's the only Limerick current All-Star, of course, as well. Great player, but he's going to play on anyway. And Limerick have this ball back once again. Once more it's Declan Hannon firing, but this time firing a blank. They all look so dangerous. They look sharp as well. They're really up for it, hoping to spoil Cork's party on the last big day of Páirc Cuiv's 38-year history. Nash driving it again to right half forward towards Seamus Harnedy. Back there once again, Wayne McNamara. If Cork players don't get that first touch, that early possession, and bounce it away, there's always somebody from Limerick picking up the scraps. This time it's played into Donal O'Grady, and Grady from a central position hits it straight and arrows that one over the bar. His first point. 5 of the forwards have now scored, although Shane Dowling's was from a free. But it's an impressive start.
Yeah, again, Kevin Downs, who's won 3 or 4 balls there, came out, did the simple thing, laid off a lovely ball to Donal O'Grady, and he hit it over the bar. And really, I think Cork will be happy enough to be only 3 down. They could be 6 or 7 points down already.
Yes, they've played very little hurling so far. Horgan now once again, trying to get on it, trying to get away from Paul Brown. And he just needs that amount of space. Wonderful player. First of the day, adding to the 233 he's already got in this year's championship, and that's 6 points to 4.
Yeah,
Patrick Horgan.
Tremendous Cork forward line, and to have that ability, and if they get enough ball, like they are picking off their scores that little bit easier, and Limerick are hitting a few wides that Cork aren't at this stage.
Breen against Damien Cahalane. Comes back here into the centre. Again, James Ryan. There's an opening for him. Gives it back to Donal O'Grady. Ryan might have taken the point himself, but selflessly gave it away to Donal O'Grady, who's got 2 in a row. And that matches his tally when he got 2 in the second half against Tipperary some 6 weeks ago now. Yeah,
very inspirational captain, and he's getting away from Mark Ellis. Mark Ellis is carrying a leg. You can see him heavily bandaged there, and O'Grady is a handful. He's a great athlete. He was a brilliant midfielder, and he switched to centre forward, working very well for Limerick.
Early indications that Cork's defenders are in considerable difficulty. That's Bill Cooper hitting it into the ground. Paudie O'Brien coming across here, and in the end it's Seamus Hickey. Mark Ellis. Ellis could have given an easy ball ahead there to the midfielder Carney, but instead it's out as far as Cadigan here. First chance he has of scoring in this match, and it drops into the goalkeeper's hand. Alan Cadigan just out of luck. Back towards Breen again, 1 against 2, and Breen wins it. He's having a very good start to this game. Diagonally over here, broken in by Downs, comes back out again, however, towards Lorcan McLaughlin, fumbles, goes back and makes sure. Clever ball as far as Mark Ellis, into the inside forward line. Broken down here by Richie McCarthy. Wonderful play by McCarthy. Really, he was in difficulty, but he had great assurance and knocked it away with lovely style. Back in there once again should be Shane O'Neill's. Might use his goalkeeper ops instead to play it wide outside here by Damien Cahalane. Robbed by Kevin Downs. Downs goes in there, shouldered. Still it's Kevin Downs, right on the end line. Nobody in support of him immediately. Mulcahy is arriving but late. Lots of Cork players there, a real pile-up on that 20-metre line. Considerable difficulty. Eventually McDonnell knocks it away and goes after it himself. Stephen McDonnell, the 25-year-old from Glen Rovers, pursued there by James Ryan, lost it. 3 between them. Limerick come again. James Ryan once more. Really wide across here. Beautifully caught. Donal O'Grady did brilliantly there, and what a free. I was wondering about the pass to begin with, but how Donal O'Grady caught that, I don't know.
It was a great catch, but a great passage to play. First of all, great defending by Cork. Shane O'Neill had a vital interception there. The ball was breaking inside, and then you saw James Ryan, what he brings to the team. He has an unbelievable energy and engine. Won the ball back when he had no right to, and Donal O'Grady, who's having a fantastic first 20 minutes, wins the free, and another handy one for Shane Dowling.
Well, he got the last one, and that was a close-in free. This is on the 45-metre line virtually. So this to put 4 between them with 20 minutes gone, and that was one he couldn't afford to miss and didn't. So a second for Shane Dowling from the Páirc. Strong the Páirc connection running through this team. Limerick County champions last year. Anthony Nash ready to puck it out. Cork need to win a couple of balls in the forwards right now, and they need to get a couple of more scores. Carney goes in, but look at the Limerick players going in with great determination, and that was once again James Ryan winning it. Paddy O'Brien's effort blocked down initially there by Aidan Walsh, came back to him, went after it. Now Paul Brown, 65 metres from the Cork goal, knocks it off the ground, looks around, and the referee says you threw it up and caught it fouling the ball, free against him.
Yeah, he was in two minds. You could see that the minute he got the ball, a couple of times he was going to shoot, changed his mind again there, and you see here again he threw it up and caught it, and a good call by the ref. But looking at Limerick, George, just noting there, they've 14 shots on goal, they've 8 points. Cork have only had 8 shots. They are dominating the game, but they're only 4 points up, and pucking the ball in it really.
Absolutely. So this free is going to be taken by Nash, just outside his own 45-metre line. Going for it, and he's driven it over the bar. First point of this year's championship for Anthony Nash, and that's 3 goals and 10 points in a career which sees him today play in his 16th match for Cork. Little smile on his face, very pleased with that one.
Yeah, tremendous score. There's only a puck of the ball in it now, Jar. I was given 4 points for it. There was 4 points in it. I was making it 1 puck of the ball. I don't think that can happen.
Limerick are coming again anyway, and once more it's Declan Hannon. All the way through, Hannon trying to spoon it over the bar, do something with it. I'm not sure. Eventually he was conscious that he was going to be caught or hooked, and he seemed in two minds also as to how he was going to complete this particular move. Should have put it over.
Well, some of the, he got closed down, but some of the forward play from Limerick, a lot of high balls in there, some of overrunning, that can be very energy sapping later on in the game.
This is Seamus Harnedy here now, from East Cork, from St. Ita's. And the physio out to attend to him straight away, Declan O'Sullivan. He had a wonderful year last year, you'll remember, of course. Goal in 13, yellow card given to Paddy O'Brien. And Harnedy feeling his head and receiving the attention.
Yeah, I didn't see it the first time we were looking at the replay, but he didn't. To me, he came in trying to catch the referee indicated he swiped across me, certainly didn't, and I think that's a harsh yellow card.
Well, Paddy O'Brien is the one who was involved with the free taker here, Pat Horgan, last year, following which Horgan got a red card. He's got a point here. That red card was rescinded. We all thought it was an accident at the time, and I think Paddy O'Brien agreed. But Cork had to play the second half with only 14 players. It's history now, as there's only 2 between them. And O'Brien again knocks it off the ground. Lehan goes after him. Time to get rid of it. Breen just about held it in play. James McGrath, the linesman on this near side, had a good view, but the ball wasn't out. Inside towards Shane Dowling, couldn't catch it, put up his hand. Here's Downs, checks back, well blocked. Good defensive play here. That was really good work by Chris Joyce. A vital interception. Comes out once again. Lehan driving it into the corner. Richie McCarthy showing that he's none the worse for that little ankle difficulty he had earlier on. Big ball in. Dowling! Oh, scored for a 65. It's an amazing block by Shane O'Neill.
That's it. I think it was a fantastic hook by O'Neill. You watch here, Shane Dowling just got in that step in behind him. He got the goal side of him. Brilliant catch. And turned back on his favourite left side. On great block down by Shane O'Neill. Fantastic defending, and he's done very well so far in there. An awful lot of pressure on him, but he's holding his ground very, very well.
Yeah, there is tremendous pressure on that full back line. But like the footballers last week, incessant pressure and no real bodies there in front of them to try and help out. But the hurlers have got it right so far. It's 8 points to 6. Shane Dowling taking this. Hit that one, didn't come up for him properly, and out it goes via Shane O'Neill again. Well, he's determined to get his hands on a Munster hurling winners medal. Last time Cork won the title was 8 years ago. The last time they've got as long as that without winning a title was back in the period between 1956 and 66. This time the referee again blows his whistle, gives the free to Limerick, indicts Aidan Walsh.
No, I think it's the other way, Ger. If you watch your little hand pass on and Shane Dowling is chasing there.
Yeah, it is the other way. It should be.
Yeah, he gave a free for that flick there across the arm.
This is...
coming in with a great hook on Kevin Downs. I think some of the option taken from Limerick, has let them down. They're trying to run an awful lot with the ball, and there's a loose man outside. Just throw out the little hand pass and take the simple score. They haven't been doing that.
It was going very well for Limerick, but now Cork have every chance of putting just one between them. It's Horgan, it's another one, it's his third point. And now all of a sudden it's 8 points to 7. And Cork have begun to play.
They have, Jared. They're giving a masterclass in economical hurling. They haven't got that many chances or that much possession, but they've taken the majority of their chances, whereas Limerick have had a huge amount of possession and they've wasted a lot of ball.
So in the sweltering heat, once again, it's Nicky Quaid. Declan Hannon is the target this time. Going across was Lorcan McLaughlin, helped out by Mark Ellis. Picked up here by Daniel Carney, into the centre as far as Bill Cooper, off his left. Cronin is the target. Patrick Cronin couldn't handle it, however, swept away by Paulie O'Brien. A real race for possession here, and the man who was coming across to try and get it there for Cork was Conor Lehan. 8 points to 7. He'll be a little bit more encouraged by what he's seen in the last couple of minutes. The defence has begun to title. They've got valuable blocks in. And the Cork forwards now trying to open up spaces and create scoring opportunities for themselves. So, second sideline cut for Aidan Walsh. Where will this one end up? To the near side and wide. Man who got 8 points against Limerick in that wonderful Munster under-21 final 3 years ago, on a night when Shane Dowling got 7.
Yeah, and you sense, as you say there, Jared, that the Cork backs beginning to get to grips with the Limerick forwards, led by Shane O'Neill, but I think Kevin Downs will work better on the edge of the square.
That's all the way in as far as Graham Mulcahy breaks it back out here. Nice economical style that time by Hannon, but didn't get the target. Instead, it is Shane O'Neill belting it out here. Difficult one over there for Cork to retain, but they do so. Lorcan McLaughlin up into the corner as far as Alan Cadigan. A real tear away, well past Tom Condon, and he fires it over. And the teams are level. Alan Cadigan, his first point. First time to skin Tom Condon there and make it 8 points apiece.
Yeah, great ball up in front of him, and he took it brilliantly. Turned Tom Condon and left him for dead, and only Wayne McNamara was coming back there. Cadigan could have went on header for the goals, but he took it and stuck it over the bar.
Well, the puck out's going to have to be delayed a moment. Again, running repairs for Alan Cadigan here. Physio has been busy. Declan O'Sullivan, long time associated with Cork hurling teams. Man who's worked wonders over the years to get them all match fit on the day and ready for action.
Yeah, James Ryan down as well there in the, or is it Wayne McNamara?
Looks to be Wayne
McNamara.
Yeah.
I think the centre back, he was covering back there, trying to cover back to close off the avenue on goal. And
well, some calls for thought by TJ and his management team made up of Paul Beery, Mark Lyons and Dave Clark, of course, has joined recently. Physio out there is Mark Van Drumt, looking after the wounded Wayne McNamara. So there have been problems for Richie McCarthy already. Now Wayne McNamara.
Yeah, and I'd say everyone's glad of the break, Jared. It's very, very warm out there, and
it certainly is that. There's no doubt about that. You need a little sauce whenever you can possibly get it. Both teams will be very glad of it. So the next piece of action will be another Limerick puck out, and once again Nicky Quaid to put the ball back into play. David Breen goes, doesn't get this one, however. This time it was Aidan Walsh who decided to go across and match up with him. The hand pass was back there towards Carney. He was fouled, anxious to take the free himself, but it might be left for the goalkeeper, and once again Anthony Nash comes out. Well, that was Aidan Walsh who came across to match up with Breen that time from the puck out, did enough on it, and that's where Carney was fouled. And the next thing we'll see is Anthony Nash try to point another one. 5 minutes ago to half time. Level at Páirc. in this year's Munster hurling final. Nash drives it into the square this time. Down it comes once again. And away by Páirc O'Brien. Aidan Walsh gets it under control, keeps moving there and gets it away from David Breen back as far as Conor Lehane, and Lehane from 50 metres out has got a third point, and there's no doubt Limerick have difficulty with Conor Lehane on this flank.
Absolutely. Aidan Walsh again, lovely vision by him, threw it back outside, and as you say, Lehane 3 points now from play, and he's been very, very sharp, and Páirc O'Brien on the yellow card as well, and that's something Limerick are going to have to look at.
It's 10 minutes now since Limerick last got a score in this final, and once more it's 1.5 backline by Lorcan McLaughlin. In went Declan Hannon to try and win it. Out came Daniel Carney, pursued there by Paul Brown. Limerick battling. Gavin O'Mahony couldn't get to it initially, still in there looking to try and halt Seamus Harnedy, but away goes the East Cork man, up into the corner once again to Alan Cadigan. Cadigan tries the shot, it's a very difficult one, but it's a brilliant point. 2 for Cadigan from 2 shots. No wonder they love him down here by the banks of the Lee, because Cork are in front by 10 points to 8.
Yeah, Jerry, you can see Cork growing in confidence. A fantastic ball by Seamus Harnedy there. He did great work, won the ball, broke away and played it inside. A fantastic score, and the referee going into Tom Condon now to have a word with him as well.
It's not so long ago we were saying here that Cork were struggling. They might be happy with the scoreline at that stage because they hadn't played a lot of hurling. Now it's Limerick who have that worry.
Well, Limerick had their 15-20 minutes at the start. They should have been further up, and that's what happens in games like this, the ebb and flow, and since Cork have got on top in the last 15, they've taken all their chances.
So just about 3 minutes to go to half-time. That came off Breen, but it comes back into the middle again, and Carney goes scampering after it. Gets it up onto his stick. The SARS man hand passing it inside here to Damien Cahalad. Feeds it forward to Aidan Walsh. Blocked down brilliantly this time by the captain, Donald O'Grady. And O'Grady off his left-hand side strikes it. But the man they call Dodge has put that one wide.
Yeah, and I think that sums up what I've been saying. You know, Donald, great block down, but there was 3 men loose around him. All he had to do was give off a little hand pass, and James Ryan was right beside him facing the goals. He would have stuck it over the bar. And, you know, they're shooting on sight. They've hit a lot of poor ball into their full forward end as well as the wides they've hit.
They could do it a point before half-time. Last 10 possessions, you can see Cork dominating there. Runs on and on from this puck out. Harney being held up by Gavin O'Mahony, but then in came Bill Cooper. Physically a very strong Cooper, and Cooper was fouled. It's got to be another free in for Cork. And Limerick displeased. Wayne McNamara having a word with the referee, but let's see what happened here again as Wayne McNamara came in.
Yeah, it has to be shoulder to shoulder, maybe a slight nudge on the back there, and that's 3 or 4 marginal enough frees that have gone against Limerick, but technically, no, I think the referee corrected most of them.
So this is an opportunity for Patrick Horgan, Glen Rovers player, who ironically has yet to finish a championship match against Limerick. It's his 3rd time playing against them in championship hurling. He was sent off last year, obviously, and back in 2010 scored 2 goals and a point. It was taken off.
Both strange decisions, I'd have to say.
This one, no problems, a 4th. 1 from open play, 3 from frees. Patrick Horgan from Glen Rovers has made it 11 points to 8. Well, the Cork fans will have seen their team start poorly, nervously, tentatively, and Limerick take a firm grip for 15 minutes, but since then it's been Cork. Seamus Hickey hitting this one into the ground as far as Páirc O'Brien. Well, he got 2 points in the league when they met at Páirc Uí back in February, and he's got 1 here. Very important score for Limerick just to close that gap as we approach half-time.
Yeah, and I think he'll be very happy. We mentioned he's had hands full with Conor Lehane, who scored 3 points. He's on the yellow card, but that'll give him a bit of confidence as well now, just before half-time.
Three minutes of additional time is going to be played. Still a few seconds to go before we get into the red zone. On it goes to Lehane again. He moves with great direction this way and that, and then puts it over the bar. A 4th for him. He's having an amazing first half. He constantly drifts away from anybody who's meant to be marking him, and by the time they've looked up and found, look, there he is, nobody near him.
Yeah, great work though by Bill Cooper again. You know, he'd no right to win that ball. He kicked it on somebody has to do the hard work, and a great turn of pace by Lehane, and what a hurler he is in full flow, and obviously very much at home here in Páirc Uí
Having a wonderful game. That one was dropped down, caught by Lorcan McLaughlin, then lost, and Limerick have a chance of getting another one, and that's enough before half-time. Graham Mulcahy getting a second. Very limited chances coming his way in the opening half, but he'll be happy to have 2 points.
Yeah, I feel he's not been played enough, Ger, but that's a tremendous first touch. He's a small man, brought down the ball, took it straight up the middle and shortened his grip, and that's a fantastic score.
22 points so far in the Munster hurling final. Horgan goes for it, so too does his marker. Paddy O'Brien ending up over the sideline, but Horgan gets it back, strikes it in there. Dangerous ball into the square. Cadigan couldn't get to it. Tom Condon gets possession and drives it 60-70 metres down the park once again, over the head of Dowling, who got the final touch. It was Dowling. It's got to be a Cork ball. We have another minute and a half or thereabouts of the stoppage time still to go. This to be hit in by Damien Cahalan. Picked to play at number 3, but of course in the championship matches so far he's been out around half back on each occasion.
Yeah, and I think it's just as well that didn't end up in the back of the net, because Paddy O'Brien to me was fouled here down on the sideline and the free wasn't given.
This is Wayne McNamara back out as far as Paul Brown. Limerick have the chance of getting made the next score. Brown hits it, wonderfully directed, straight as a die. Paul Brown, 1 point the margin in stoppage time, and another minute still to play.
Yeah, that's a huge strike again. Like, some of the Limerick scores have been fantastic. They've maybe taken the wrong options at times, but a great battle in the middle of the field, where Aidan Walsh has scored a point, James Ryan has got a point, Paul Brown has got a point, and they're covering acres of ground, all four of them.
Beautifully balanced match. Again, collected in the middle of the park here. Horgan trying to lay it off to a colleague. Well, the man who was anticipating is James Ryan. Really hard-working midfield, but very effective as well. All the way in here, lots of Cork backs there. Ellis watches, it's taken back here once again. They try to kick it out of danger there and fail to do so, and taken back once more by Shane Dowling, but further away from the target. Coming onto it is Donald O'Grady, trying to hold off 2 Cork men. He's fouled, jersey tugged, and a chance of putting over the equaliser, and they can finish this first half as they started level.
You see a hand coming in there, his hurl was pulled, but maybe, you know, the way on the balance of play in the first half, maybe Limerick deserved to be level at half time, but it's ebbed and flowed. It's been, it took a few minutes, but it's been a great contest ever since.
Well, the Munster hurling final is always one of those great sporting occasions of the summer, as Shane Dowling now with 2 pointed frees. Missed the first 2, got the last 2, he's got the third, and the teams are level for the second time. He's got 3. Limerick and Cork are sharing 24 points so far, and the referee is about to call for the ball, blow his half-time whistle, and the teams go in. The fans are happy, the sun is out, and we still don't really know who's going to win the 2014 Munster hurling title. Limerick, the champions, are here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. They'll be pleased with the start they made, but then Cork came back strongly, and Conor Lehane from play got 4. They were all very important. In a little while we'll be hearing the views of Cyril, Liam and Ger in our panel. They'll be with Michael Lester. At half-time in the Munster hurling final, it's Cork 12 points, Limerick 12 points. We're back after this.
After their annihilation of host Brazil, Germany now face Argentina in the World Cup finals.
Shot from Higuain!
Can Messi and co avenge their country's 1990 final defeat?
Absolutely brilliant!
Or will Germany make history and become the first European side to win a World Cup on South American soil? The 2014 FIFA World Cup final, Germany versus Argentina. Tonight at 7 on RTE2 and RTE2 HD.
They call me...
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man is programmed to use antiperspirant every day. Note, not all antiperspirants protect against irritation. Use Dove Men Plus Care instead, the only 48-hour antiperspirant with Dove's Quarter Moisturiser technology to protect against irritation. Tough on sweat, not on skin. Important information. New compressed Dove Men Plus Care. All man needs to protect against irritation, now in a revolutionary compressed can.
Says here, red's the new blue.
Not for 10 years, it's not. I'm using Run Seal 10-year weatherproof paint. It is exactly what it says on the tin.
Take another look at the next motorcyclist you see and ask yourself, who's underneath? He's a dad. He's a brother. He's a son. He's an uncle. He's a best mate. He's for keeps. Now take another look at the fact that just under half of motorcyclist deaths and serious injuries are due to drivers. So take another look for motorcyclists coming from behind. Or when you're turning right. Or when you're coming out of a side road. Before you have to take a look at this. Be bike aware. Take another look. From the Road Safety Authority.
We've always cared more about people than cars. That's why AA members get fully comprehensive car insurance to drive other cars, even when they're borrowed. It's not just your car we insure, it's you, the person. From just €24 a month. The AA. Let's go.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
It is half-time here at Páirc in the 2014 Munster hurling final between Cork and Limerick, and it is all square at half-time, 12 points apiece. Let's take a quick look at the stats from that first half, and there actually isn't an awful lot between the two teams, as you can see there from the statistics. The only difference, I suppose, if you like, is one yellow card issued in that first half to Limerick. That was to their wing-back, Paudie O'Brien, in what was, I think, everybody would agree, a good, tough, exciting but sporting contest. Cyril Farrell, we are getting very used to watching games all square and extra time and replays and all that kind of stuff. There can't be extra time here today. Will there be a replay?
Well, if you went into the bookies to be enticing you, like, you know, they'd say 10 to 1 or maybe give it 12 to 1 where things are going. It's looking like that, but I don't think there will be. Limerick started off very well, got a few scores, should have been far more in front. Now, the one stat there, 7 wides to 3 or 4, that's because Cork hasn't as much possession as Limerick. I think Cork slowly but gradually came into the game. Great scores from out the field, lovely wrist hurling, and we're going in, say, into the 70 or 35th minute, 2 points up, and then Limerick claw the way back again. It's still an intriguing game. There's a nice little bit of a breeze flowing down the pitch. Now, Cork will feel that if they get more...
Down the pitch would be in Limerick's favour.
Yeah,
Cork's first half.
Cork's favour the second half. Yeah. But Cork will feel if they get a bit more ball in, they can cause trouble. But to be fair to the Limerick backs, like the half backs, I know Brian McNamara and O'Mahony, and the two boys midfield, Ryan and Paul Brown, and the old soldier inside corner back like Richie, like these lads are playing out of their skins. But you still feel that Cork have the ability to win it if they get enough ball, because they have the lovely ball players. Lehan and these lads, Pat Horan, they are beautiful hurlers. Cork, I feel at half time, are lucky enough to win in on level terms, and they will kind of be the happier, if you want to call it, the happier of two at the half time, because they will feel there's a lot more in them.
We showed the stats, Liam Sheedy, about the scoring chances there. The one goal chance went to Limerick. This makes a point for you, the way the Limerick are trying to play this.
Yeah, I think Limerick, you know, they're isolating Shane Dowling in there. You know, Graham Mulcahy and Kevin Downs are playing out and they're trying to get a one-on-one situation. And I mean, it's an ideal situation with a guy like Shane Dowling because he's really good to field in the air. But I have to say, Shane O'Neill, who maybe wasn't having a great season up to now, you know, I felt maybe he wasn't attacking the ball as well. But this is outstanding defending. And I think Shane O'Neill and Steve McDonald, they've been really busy there because there's been a lot of ball in that middle third of the field. It's been a lot of ball that's been won by Limerick players, creating attack after attack. But every time Shane O'Neill is in there. But that was a great goal chance. And you feel at this stage, you know, Limerick went 8-4 up after 20 minutes. All of a sudden, then Cork came and got 6 points in a row. Limerick came back in. A goal in this game would be a massive score because the crowd crowd is just all, there's a huge support here from both for both teams here. So, a goal at that stage would be a big score, and that would have been a massive score. That would have given Limerick a 5-point cushion at that stage.
Ger, you made the point before the match. You were talking about the under-21 final of a couple of years ago and the fact that some of these Limerick forwards scored freely that day against some of those Cork backs. Now, you were right for about half of that first half.
Yeah.
Because Limerick did actually start extremely well.
Yeah, they started really well, and they played with great method as well. They vary the long ball and the short. Now, here's Tom Condon, lovely ball out, picking out the men, not hitting these Hail Mary shots all the time. A brilliant score there from Declan Hannon. When they get the man into space, they should shoot. They ran too much in the first half, I think, with the ball, and they often ran into cul-de-sacs. Now, look at the way the ball is walked out. Intelligent play. Walk the ball out, lovely pass to the loose man, coming inside, draw the defender, laid off to Donald Grady over the bar. Now, they were doing that really well for the first 20 minutes. They were opening up that Cork defence. They were targeting Damien Cahalan on the wing, every ball down to Breen. He was winning it. Now, Cork being Cork, of course, was smart. Aidan Welch has drifted back in there to go in front of Breen, and it has cut off that. So it has left Limerick running at the defence. Now, the Cork defence is much more aggressive than it has been, up to now, and they're tackling really, really well. But I think that Limerick should go down Hannon's wing much, much more. They had a fixation with Breen's wing, and even though Welch is now covering in front of him, they're still doing it. They should vary the play a lot more. And as Liam said there, that ball into the full forward with the corner forwards coming in at lightning pace, that might be their best chance for a goal, because if they do get a goal, then they're really in the game. But Cork at the moment, apart from the last 5 minutes, they have the initiative.
They have, Cyril, but at the same time, Cork found it very difficult at times to get that ball into their forwards. And in actual fact, it was Conor Lehane that was keeping them in the game when there was a period there, they were kind of living off scraps, if you like.
They were living off scraps, no doubt about that. But Conor Lehane is fantastic. Wristy hurler, left or right. He's popping up. He did in the county final here. Just has this ability. Here, look at this. Has a swing around here. Now look, on his left side here. This isn't easy. Back over the shoulder, wrist. That's from his left side. You see, after a while, he's capable of doing both. So look at here. Anthony Nash. Lovely little ball. Now, both teams are kind of using their heads. Look at this. He reads this break here. Next thing's gone. Now, this time, has a little look up again. Back on his left again, over the bar. If he keeps getting, I think he got 4 in the first half, he's keeping Cork in the game with just little bits and pieces of cameo stuff on his. Kind of really look at Welsh here. Feet, watch this. Turns back, little flick back here. Here he is again on his right this time, bang over the bar. He'll score him all day. It's okay to say the wing back's remarkable, but when they play it back, it's hard to pick him up. He's living on breaks, but if they get enough supply in, they're capable of punishing. But so far, because they're not getting it.
Cyril, as Páirc O'Brien, he's man that cleared that ball out Aidan Welsh. So he's marking fellas like Lehane and Cadigan. You just have to have a man marker on those, and he has to chase him wherever he goes. And they haven't done that in the first half.
All right, 35 minutes or thereabouts to decide this year's Munster Hurling Championship. We will have the second half live after this break.
He's making a play for it. Wants to be the man in charge. I got other ideas of what to do with him.
Taking retribution to another level, Person of Interest returns with a double bill.
Your job is to protect everyone.
Finch, we're not good for a reason.
You've got a big problem.
What could he have that she would want?
And now in my group, I'll handle the security on this.
I want something in return. Otherwise, I'm done.
Person of Interest, the new series starts Monday at 9 on RTE2.
Now you can get the best value bundle ever, only from Aircom, with super fast fibre broadband. Plus your calls from home. And we've added mobile, all in one bundle for one incredible price of just €30 a month. Super fast fibre broadband, home phone and mobile. Sign up and we'll even give you a free smartphone. Call 1-800-503-303.
Don't let shopping interrupt your me time. Save time and money with Eurocrunch offers at your local Spar.
When I travel, I don't have to pay for any baggage. I get all the benefits of first-class travel, legroom, and I can use my phone. Hello. I can surf the internet, relax. Best of all, when I get here, my car is here. I like to call it a carcation. It's fantastic, like the ship.
Enjoy the best travel experience and take the kids for free with Stanaline. Book today at stanaline.ie.
Protecting your children in this crazy world isn't always easy, but thanks to Leia Healthcare, it just got a little bit easier. With our Essential Connect family scheme, new and existing members can get 50% off their children's health insurance. With family savings like that, it's no wonder we're Ireland's second largest healthcare insurance provider. Call today or go online and save 50%. Leia Healthcare, looking after you always.
The new Nissan Note offers innovation for everyone. Like blind spot warning, so there are no surprises. 360-degree cameras to catch danger lurking. And safety shield technology to help keep you safe. The new Nissan Note. Innovation that excites.
The provincial finals are coming thick and fast here on RTE television. Next weekend, the focus is on football. Dublin defend their Leinster title against old rivals Meath. And then we head up north for this year's Ulster final. The champions of the past 2 years, Donegal and Monaghan, contest that one. And we are on the air next Sunday from 1:30. Meanwhile, here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the sides are level in this year's Munster hurling final. Cork 12 points, Limerick 12 points. Cork are back out on the field. Liam Sheedy, who is going to win it now? No changes on that Cork team, by the way.
No, I think Cork will be the happier team at half-time. They didn't get to the pitch of the game at all in that first 10 minutes. You know, they were non-existent in the first 10 minutes. They slowly come into it. I'm not so sure drifting out Patrick Horgan and not playing the traditional full forward line has helped them in that first half. I think they've been a bit all over the place. Really, it's been up to Conor Lehane and Alan Cadigan to keep them in the game. They're the two guys. Alan's got 2 points and Conor Lehane has got 4 points. That side of the pitch has been very, very, very good to them. But other than that, there has to be more of this Cork team. That little bit of a breeze might help. I just think that Limerick are working much harder than Cork right now. Unless Cork pick up the work stakes, they're going to be in trouble. But I just feel, the home crowd, the home venue, they might just get over the line. But this is going to be a really, really good second half.
This was tight and tough in that first half. The scoreline reflects that. But you suspect, Gerlach Nan, that it might just open up in the second half. If it does, who would that favour?
Well, you see, I think what Limerick have to do in the second half is they have to up the tempo. Because when the tempo was high for the first 20 minutes, when they're moving the ball really fast, they were on the ascendancy. The minute they let it slacken at all, Cork have such skill, such lovely movement, they're able to place their men. So they have to get back to that tempo they had at the start. Now, look at what Wexford did yesterday. They played with the win in the first half, were 2 points down. They set the tone from the start of the second half. Limerick should come out now and really tear into it because the chance is there for them. So if they do that, and above all, as we said earlier on, a goal will really ignite the crowd here. The crowd are waiting for something spectacular to happen, and a goal would really do that.
All right, well, it's due in this game, that's for sure. OK, now, by the way, after today's Munster final, we'll be giving you another chance to enter our big Sunday game competition. You could win 2 tickets to the All-Ireland hurling final, a weekend in Dublin, and spending money, so watch out for that. OK, let's rejoin Michael Dignan and Ger Canning.
Thank you, Michael. The capacity here today, about 36,000. The biggest recorded hurling crowd for a Munster final here was just under 50,000. Second half gets underway. And straight away it's Cork with the wind behind them, that light breeze. Daniel Carney hand passing it down here as far as Harnedy. Chaoimh Harnedy dancing his way through, not quite finishing. Nicky Quaid able to take it, sun in his eyes. Dropping it a good distance forward here. Donald O'Grady got there ahead of David Breen. Right on the sideline here, trying to put this one over and make the perfect start in the second half, but he doesn't quite match his ambition with that shot.
Yeah, no changes there, Gerard, half-time.
There's a change. Paddy O'Sullivan is just coming on. That's strange, isn't it? Didn't come out with the team.
Yeah, Páirc Cronin looks to be gone from what I can see. Paddy O'Sullivan, different type of player, but great man to take a score and a great hurling brain.
Well, they didn't bring him out with the rest of the team, but he's just come on now anyway, so it's immaterial. Cronin's gone. Paddy O'Sullivan has come into the action. Cork advance. Once again, Chaoimh Harnedy. Easy chance for him. Comes back down. Still the opportunity. Cadigan went down, but referee says play on. They do so. It was Patrick Horgan in the end who was trying the shot there. The referee had blown his whistle anyway, was pointing in the direction of the Limerick goal. Near thing.
Absolutely, and Seamus Harnedy with his second easy chance at the half missed it. You watch Alan Cadigan go to ground, there's certainly no foul, and Pat Horgan won the ball and he was held up, and it's a free. And now, interesting now, he's scored 2 the last day, and I'd imagine with his power, I think he'll certainly go for it with his power, win behind him.
Well, let's see. Just outside the 20-metre line, as you can see. They know what's coming. Will he surprise them? He goes for it. Keeper saves. Reacting quickest of all is Wayne McNamara, and then it's prodded out over the end line. And
yeah, it hit. I think it hit Pat Horgan in the face guard there when he tried to clear it. And
just look at this again. Then Patrick Horgan had every intention of getting a goal here.
Yeah, he struck it very well. I think it was Gavin O'Mahony maybe got blocked with, you see Wayne McNamara coming out then and clearing it off his helmet, and it's gone out wide.
So nothing achieved anyway. From that puck out into the middle of the park, and once again reacting quickest of all is Aidan Walsh towards Bill Cooper. 50-50 ball which he won against Wayne McNamara. Mightn't have been favoured to get it, but he did. Seamus Harnedy once again, another shot by him, and this one has gone left. Missed opportunity.
That's 3 in a row now for Seamus Harnedy that would normally score. He has Gavin O'Mahony in all sorts of trouble. Conor Lahan has Paddy O'Brien in all sorts of trouble on the other wing, and that's the one line where Cork are really making hay and Limerick are under pressure. It's right across that half-back, half-forward line.
Just 4 points scored so far this year in the championship for Seamus Harnedy. Quaid's puck out towards Hannon, trying to prod it on. Out it came over the went off a Cork stick. It's got to be a line ball for Limerick. TJ Ryan with a quiet little word there for Declan Hannon. So this line ball will be taken by Declan Hannon in front of an attendance of 36,075. Well gathered inside there, and once again taken away here by Chris Joyce. Well out of danger, but again Paul Brown onto the break quickly, sends it in towards the 20-metre line. Again the referee saw a push, and it's going to be a free for the foul on Shane O'Neill, which was by Shane Dowling.
Yeah, Paul Brown got the ball there. He looked up, but there was no movement initially, and then Shane O'Neill, as he normally does, very good at anticipating, got out in front, and he's winning that battle with Shane Dowling hands down so far.
Nash taking this too far out to go for a point, dropping it in towards the 13-metre line instead. Gavin O'Mahony with Wayne McNamara helping. Back out it comes, and it's Paddy O'Sullivan who gets his first possession. Back out to Bill Cooper, well blocked again. Really good work that time by Wayne McNamara. Well, he's a power of strength back there.
Yeah, tremendous competitor, and did very well there.
And the final shot has gone over the bar, beautifully done. Paddy O'Sullivan only on a few minutes, only 4 minutes into the game, I would say.
Yeah, quick thinking there by Cork. You watch him at that the whole time, looking for the quick line ball, and that's a great start. And this is what Paddy O'Sullivan has done in the last 2 matches. When he was introduced, he scored almost straight away. Another big impact by him there.
So Cork back in front again. Just a point in it, however. Declan Hannon goes off. Lockhart McLaughlin tries to get possession back. Hannon strikes it, but the referee has seen a jersey tug anyways. Hannon was going through, so it's going to be a free in. Free takers have been busy in this match now, and it gives Limerick a chance to level up the score. This is a relatively easy one for Shane Dowling to hit, just outside the D. Light breeze into his face. 3 points converted from frees already. giving himself a moment just to compose himself and make absolutely sure which he does. So 4 for the day so far. Freeze. And this is where the foul did occur. There was Lorcan McLaughlin was virtually hanging out of Declan Hannon.
Yeah, and I think Limerick need to get Declan Hannon into the game, aim more puckouts down on top of him, because David Breen has dried up now. He won a good few balls early, but he hasn't been lately.
Horgan comes across here. Just one quick look up at the post over his left shoulder. Put it wide. He's an instinctive kind of player. Doesn't take more than the necessary second or two.
Yeah, but you know, those balls that go wide, they kind of ruin the flow of the game. They take away from the atmosphere, and a lot of poor wides now from both sides. You know, just taken from the occasion. David Breen.
Cork with the second half possession so far, which is only 6 minutes and 20 seconds old. Breen. Now where's this going to end up? Mark Ellis came across initially, knocked him off it, and then out there came Shane Dowling. He was held back. Both sets of fans getting animated on the far side. The tempo is high, the temperature is high, and it's got to be a free in once again.
Yeah, if you watch David Breen there, though, he went, you know, in the first half, Limerick ran into a lot of cul-de-sacs. He did the same thing, no support whatsoever. He ran into a blind alley, and Shane Dowling, just physical strength, won that free. He came out and won the ball, but they need support players. They need to lay off the ball a lot quicker.
That's again put over by Shane Dowling. One of 8 scorers for Limerick in this match so far. And there's got to be a change now. William Egan is coming on. Damien Cahalan is going off. So that's a second change made by Jimmy Barry Murphy and his team of selectors.
Yeah, and substitutes going to play a part. Tony O'Sullivan and William Egan, and Cork's bench looks that bit stronger. But the likes of Sean Tobin, you know, Niall Moran brought back onto the Limerick panel recently. A man who can take a few scores, maybe in pressure situations as well.
Yeah, just 31 years of age. He's a lot to offer if he does come on. Shemmy Harnedy now, hoping that he has a lot to offer by getting this next score, and he's done exactly that. Missed a few, held his nerve, kept going, was very decisive. And once again the scoreboard shows the teams are level for the 4th time.
Yeah, Harnedy, you know, deserved that one. That's his 4th shot on goal since half-time. A great catch by Shane Dowling.
He's going in. Oh, he's put it over the bar. He really thundered that one. It could be anywhere. It's a 6 point for him. That should have been a goal.
That was a fantastic catch. And for a man with his power, like, he was going for the top corner. If he hit it low, he had a choice of going left or right. Really, he should have put it away, but it's on the scoreboard now, and Limerick lead by a point.
Remember the goal he got against Tipperary, set up for him by Kevin Downs? Speaking of which, we haven't seen an awful lot of Kevin Downs in this match.
Isolated out in the left corner, probably not used to it. Joe, we normally see him in more central, and here's Daniel Carney looking for the quick one again.
Which he duly plays in there to his midfield partner, but in came James Ryan immediately just to try and nullify any advantage Cork might have. Bill Cooper in the red helmet waiting, in went Brown in the yellow helmet for Limerick. Cooper again now here, looking for options, needing to lay it off. As far as Lorcan McLaughlin, one of 3 Kinturk players in this Cork team, inside towards Alan Cadigan, balances it on his stick. Lehan was coming in support, couldn't get to it however, and it's away by Gavin O'Mahony as far as Wayne McNamara, and the Limerick fans cheer as he plays it down beautifully as far as Kevin Downs. We're mentioning a moment ago where he was. Here he is. Here's David Breen, and that one has gone over. David Breen, who's got 4 goals in the past, gets his first point here. A really dangerous moment for Cork, a wonderfully promising one for Limerick.
Yeah, brilliant support play there. We were talking about that. Kevin Downs laid it off. Good, went off the back of one of the Cork players over the bar, and that's all 6 Limerick forwards now who scored from play.
Limerick by 2. Down towards Harnedy, outnumbered. But Alan Cadigan gets in between 3 Limerick players, shortens the grip on the stick and puts it over the bar. It's a beautiful score. Cadigan gets his first of the second half, 3rd in all.
Yeah, tremendous score there. Look, great stick work and pace from Cadigan. A brilliant battle between him and Condon. Cadigan has scored 3 points from play now, and Conor Lahan has 4. We haven't seen him since half-time, but Seamus Harnedy has powered into the game, and we have a fantastic contest on our hands now.
Only 1 between them. 10 minutes into the second half. Live on the Sunday game from Cork. Big one up here. Joyce goes for it. The right half back gets it out as far as Aidan Walsh. Walsh shows strength, resolution. James Ryan's after him. equally determined to get that in the little block or the hook. Walsh plays it ahead, goes after it, right in the corner here. Recycling it here, back as far as Seamus Harnedy, change of direction to try and get it back past Wayne McNamara. Walsh now, trying to get in the clear, trying to make an angle for himself or somebody else. Lehan available, 45 metres out, over the bar. 5 for Lehan, first of the second half, and the team's level once again, level for the 5th time now in a wonderful Munster final.
Yeah, and I mentioned he was quiet since half-time, but great work there by Aidan Walsh, Seamus Harnedy, a lot of patience shown and tremendous level of fitness by Walsh to stay going there, out to Conor Lehan, and great score over the bar, draw match now.
Donal O'Grady, and Donal O'Grady was fouled there by, it's not Donal O'Grady, in fact it's Graham Mulcahy who came out, fouled by his man Stephen McDonnell.
Yeah, that's a tremendous catch if you watch him here, and one-handed in, down top of the helmet. That's a bad stroke by Stephen McDonnell. I think he got a yellow card. I didn't quite see it, I was looking at the replay.
Well, it deserves a yellow card anyway.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he did get one.
He was a long way away from the ball.
Well, maybe not. This free is taken by Shane Dowling. He's got 6 so far, make it 7. Limerick again, edge in front. 6 of his 7 points have come from frees. Once he got his confidence, once he got his rhythm, he is just unstoppable. Bill Cooper raced a good 10 or 12 metres to try and get that one, knocked it into the path of Daniel Carney. A young man from Sarsfield, pursued there by Brown. Carney going back to make a better angle for himself or somebody else, and it's Bill Cooper off his left, and Bill Cooper puts it over the bar. His first point, following in the tradition of Sean O'Leary and Pat Hagerty and Willie Walsh in the pass from Youghal, and another point here for the Youghal man, 17 apiece.
Yeah, and he deserved the score. He's worked so hard since the start of the game. That's 7 points from play now from the Cork half-forward line. That's a huge figure. They're the dominant players on the Cork team, and I think the pace of the Cork midfield and attack has really taken its toll now in the Limerick defence.
They come again, level pegging, missed there by Tom Condon. Cadigan tried to see something here develop. It's Paddy O'Sullivan against the fullback Richie McCarthy. Back out again to Cadigan here. Well blocked. James Ryan got in the stick. Good timing. And the players expending an awful lot of energy in very tricky conditions for them. It's really sweltering down there.
Yeah, great block by James Ryan. And you're right, Gerard. It looks like, you know, Limerick, because of the pace of that Cork attack, they look to have in all sorts of bother. But on the other hand, when Limerick get up the field, their forwards looking very dangerous as well. Unlimited possession at this stage. They had a lot of possession in the first half, but still doing very well when they do get the ball in.
Paddy O'Sullivan taken here well. Again, Cooper feeling hot at this stage. Drives this one just outside the post, and he's missed it. A player who made a big difference when he came on at half-time in the first match of this year's championship against Waterford. His goal was so important that day because the Dacia looked a better team for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's a terrible poor wide. We said in the first half Limerick had them, well, Cork certainly having them now. That's, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 wides in the second half from very easy positions, a lot of them.
Aidan Walsh, too high for Harnedy, but not for Bill Cooper. Down towards Paddy O'Sullivan, causing a headache or two for the Limerick defenders. Across here comes the very smooth Seamus Hickey. Hickey hand passes at a long, long distance. Up here as far as the full forward Kevin Downs. Downs goes ahead, goes again, strikes from distance, and it just drifts away at the last moment. Missed opportunity. That's 9 wides for Limerick, and it is 7 wides for Cork.
Yeah, look at Kevin Downs there, took too much out of the ball. He had loads of time the first time he got possession to leave it in front of Shane Dowling, and overdid it and hit a poor wide.
Gosh, it's anybody's match. Terrific stuff once again in the Munster final. Here's Conor Lehan, scorer of 5 points so far. Having a go, the umpires look, they're in 2 minds, they decide no, it's not, it's wide.
Yeah, but again, Conor Lehan left Paddy O'Brien for dead. Only for the work rate of both Paul Brown and James Ryan is unbelievable. Look at Paul Brown coming back with the yellow helmet. He covered 50 yards to cover Conor Lehan, and he forced him, put him under pressure. But Paddy O'Brien was left behind, I think. But all of the half backline for Limerick now look very, very tired, and I think a change is needed there.
Again they come. This time it's Graham Mulcahy. Hand passing it, intended for Hannon. Intercepted initially by Stephen McDonnell. Fumbling there, Donal O'Grady eventually watches, and the ball is driven out by Mark Ellis, the Mill Street player. Big one down, and this will suit Seamus Hickey, former Young Hurler of the Year, to himself against Horgan. Tries to get in a block. Out to James Ryan. 17-17. Wayward pass this time by William Egan. His first contribution since coming on as a sub. Bill Cooper lobbed into that zone there in front of goal, and Richie McCarthy comes racing across, safe as you like, read the flight path, fumbled initially by Hickey but able to go back, pushed over then by Paddy O'Sullivan, and with 51 minutes gone on the clock, still level.
Yeah, saw some good defending there on both sides. Seamus Hickey dropped the ball initially but picked it up well, and just a nudge there from Paddy O'Sullivan, but we saw William Egan as well out in front of his man, and maybe a bit more direct hurling from either team now will prove better off.
Once again, that's driven forward by Brown, taken down by Dowling here. Twisting around and twisting sufficiently to get enough on it to put it over the bar. He's the man, definitely. 8 points, and Limerick are making a change in the backs. Stephen Walsh is coming on, and going off is Paulie O'Brien, who was on a yellow card.
Yeah, not surprised by that. And Gerald was saying Shane O'Neill had a fantastic game, but Shane Dowling in the last 10 minutes has won a couple of balls that have gone in there, and I think Limerick need to play more direct ball now in on top of him. The short ball is not working out from out the field.
And I'm just looking around to see who he's picking up. There he is, he's picking up Pat Horgan, keeping a very good eye on him. There he is, first touch, got it down as far as Gavin O'Mahony. Mahony looks ahead now, Walsh fumbles, in came Loco McLaughlin. Stalemate eventually broken up here. Wayne McNamara trying to get it out. So too is Daniel Carney for Cork, trying to get it in the opposite direction. And the referee finally saw a foul, and it's got to be a free for Cork.
Yeah, and Gavin O'Mahony there had the ball. He could have played it 60-70 yards up the field. He gave a 2-yard pass off his hurl and put Stephen Walsh under pressure, and eventually led to that free being conceded.
So a chance for Cork once again to level up this game. Patrick Horgan, all his scores coming in the first half so far, 4 of them, 3 from frees, and now he adds to that and ties the game up for the 7th time. Big cheer as it's 18-18.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the pass there going astray and putting them under pressure, and led to a free eventually. But Seamus Hickey, who did very well on Pat Horgan in general play, gone out now on the wing on Conor Lahan, and pressure on Stephen Walsh. Will that bring Pat Horgan into the game, because Hickey has done very well on him?
Well, whoever's going to win it now is going to win it in the last quarter of this game is Donal O'Grady, Limerick captain, hoping to retain the Munster Cup at the end of the 7th. Back out here to Paul Brown, driving it in, and the umpires thought for a moment, eventually, I think it's Brian Gavin's brother, his umpire down there, waving it wide. Stays at 18 apiece. From the puck out, dropped into the hands there of Seamus Harnedy. Harnedy showing great ability to get away from his man and crush it into the back of the Limerick net. The first goal, and maybe the only goal of this game, scored by Seamus Harnedy. 54 minutes are gone on the clock. Last year's All-Star comes good here and makes it 118 to 18 points.
Yeah, well, he's caused havoc since half-time. Credit to the referee there, he gave him the advantage. You see the arm in the air, he broke through, and a brilliant finish to the roof of the net. And Seamus Harnedy has been on fire since half-time. You can see that he was trying to drag him down. Great pace, great strength, and a fantastic finish.
What his second ever championship goal, scored in Croke Park, of course, last September. Now Limerick have a real challenge once again. Wayne McNamara bidding to close the gap immediately, and he does so very successfully with a huge outside shot, and it's 118 to 19 points, and there's still plenty of time left in this match. 15 minutes plus stoppage time.
Yeah, an inspirational score right from the middle of the field. A great score by Wayne McNamara.
This is the goal once again here, avoiding the hook of Tom Condon, driving it smoothly in past Nicky Quaid. Here comes Horgan. Patrick Horgan shortening the grip on the stick and driving it over the bar. His second point to come from open play, and his 6th in all today. And once again, there's 3 points between them. That goal by Seamus Harnedy.
Yeah, great ball in front of Pat Horgan, and I mentioned that switch. You know, Horgan, when he gets that type of ball, he's deadly. And as I mentioned 10 minutes ago, the pace of the Cork forwards really telling now, and they're running all over the place.
And that puck out goes straight out over the near sideline here. Jimmy Barry Murphy roaring on the encouragement. Winner of 10 Munster Senior Championship medals in his time as a player. TJ Ryan concerned with his Moir Forna there, issuing some directives. Shawnee Tobin's just coming in, and the player he replaces is Declan Hannon. Got a great point at the beginning of the match, but hasn't done a great deal since. Didn't see a lot of the ball. David Breen back there in his own half back line at this stage. MacDonald attacks it. Out there came Mulcahy. Beautifully directed ball to Paul Brown. This is a chance. Paul Brown darting in the clear. 3 men go after him, and as he did so, he was dispossessed brilliantly by Mark Ellis. And Ellis, the centre half back, playing in his first Munster final, clearing it away downfield. Caught well and struck over the bar. Bill Cooper. Second point for him. Might have been a score at the other end. Probably should have been. And there is the difference. Cork score.
Yeah, well, Paul Brown, he thought a gap opened up inside. Brilliant defending by Cork. He should have put it over the bar. But Bill Cooper, who has been very influential throughout, that's his second point. And the tally keeps rising now. That's a goal and 8 points from the Cork half-hour line, which is an unbelievable tally from play in a Munster final.
And Michael Ford between them. Daniel Carney has worked his socks off, literally, all the way into the centre here as far as Patrick Horgan. Goes off on a solo once again, looks up, plenty of players to aim at inside. One of them is Alan Cadigan. Drifts away from Richie McCarthy, very near the sideline. Ball still in play, the linesman has decided as he hits that one. It was a really, really ambitious one. Other players were saying to her, why didn't you give it to us? Missed opportunity, and it's a 9th wide by Cork, 9 as well for Limerick.
Yeah, a bit of
now a 10th.
A bit of a rush of blood, I think, by Alan Cadigan there. He took a heavy tackle, went for the score. Aidan Walsh was in the middle of the field on his own, or across the field looking for a pass.
Puckouts one, just about even so far. Here's the next one. Cork win this. Brilliantly taken down. Again, it's Mark Ellis. Broken down here by Connolly Hahn.
That is fucking right.
Into the corner here comes Graham Mulcahy. Swings this one across. Shane Dowling. Dangerous. Dowling didn't get enough space on it. There was a little block. Fumbled by William Egan trying to get the ball out. Helped in the end by Shane O'Neill. Hand passed out. Then collided with a Limerick player. Got it out as far as Aidan Walsh, and eventually the danger is averted. Way downfield. Under it there. And hit out was Seamus Hickey. Line ball to Cork. Played at 100 miles an hour at this stage. 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, the few half chances Limerick have got inside, they've been a little bit hesitant. Shane Dowling got that. He was going to go left, he turned back, lost a chance. We saw that with Paul Brown earlier as well. And they're going to need a goal and one quick to get themselves back into this.
Well, this has got to be hit in by Aidan Walsh.
He just cleared the ball from the cornerback position a couple of seconds ago, and now he's up there taking this.
He's got just tremendous ability to move, great endurance all the way in here, only as far as Seamus Hickey. Limerick now must try and do something with this next attack. David Breen let it run out. William Egan was his marker. Cork will have the possession. Just unlucky that time. David Breen had a very good first half.
He had Jared. William Egan has done well. I think the Cork half back line in the second half, particularly Christopher Joyce, Mark Ellis, came much more into the game. And like Donald O'Grady had a great start to the game as well, but he's gone very quiet. And Kevin Downs is out in the wing here. We haven't seen him in a while either.
Egan to strike this, indication of the light. Well, eventually, got to hit it as quickly as you can. If you miss it the first time, David Breen, frontal charge. Egan stands over him, but he knows darn well that it's got to be a free to Limerick. It's got to be shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, that's the referee has the book out. It was a ticking or a yellow card. I'm not sure. I think it's a yellow, is it?
Well, maybe noted it anyway. So far, Brian Gavin has had a fairly straightforward and easy match to referee two very, very sporting teams. It's been a good contest. Cork ahead at this stage by 4 points. 10 minutes to go. Shane Dowling with an important free now. And that one over. A 9th.
Yeah, that's a tremendous free, Jerry. He missed a couple early on, but since then, and that's a crucial score to keep them within a goal of Cork with 10 minutes to go.
Limerick may need a goal. Can they get one? At the other end, Cork need to try and press home on the advantage they have at this stage. Comes off Harnady's hands. Picked up here well by Wayne McNamara. Looks about, gives it straight into the hands here of Kevin Downs. going off. Harnady's after him. Down still, 45, now 30 metres out, and he mishits it under a bit of pressure from Mark Ellis at the very end.
Yeah, but I have a certain amount of sympathy for Kevin Downs. When he won that ball, he looked up, there was no movement inside, and he had to continue on the run, but he showed the pace there, got away from Daniel Carney, and really, he was under a bit of pressure, but he should have put it over the bar.
Lochlan McLaughlin from the puck out, down towards Alan Cadigan, collects it well, gets there past Richie McCarthy, and hits this one wide. Missed chance. Chance he set up himself, should have been able to take it. He's got 3. There's still only a goal between the sides. There's the Munster Cup at stake, the title for the year of being Munster champions. There's also the little matter of trying to avoid a tough quarter-final and possible semi-final against Kilkenny. Dowling in quickly and over. Another one for him. He's got 10 out of Limerick's total of 21, and the margin's down to 2.
Yeah, lovely flick on there by Donald O'Grady, and Dowling has been very sharp in the second half. That's 3 points from play, and if he gets another chance, we know what he can do. He's a powerful striker, and he's very, very sharp in there.
It's there for the taking for both these teams. Bill Cooper wants it, tripped by Richie McCarthy, free in. Discipline must be paramount for both of these sides now in the concluding stages. As you can see, just about 8 minutes left in this match. Can't afford to give away frees to the likes of Patrick Horgan or to Shane Dowling at the other end. Again, the players will be glad of a little breather here. It's been a tough match. Dr. Con Murphy there, long-time associate with Cork teams hurling and football. Great old friend of Jimmy Barry Murphy as well.
Yeah, and a very wise head, I'm sure, in the line there. He's seen so much over the years.
Absolutely. As Horgan hits this, doesn't fail in his quest for another score. He's got 7. And Cork once again push a goal ahead. Limerick trying to retain the title. Cork trying to win it back on their own patch on the final day of a big match at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Their first victory would be for 8 years. James Ryan's shot partly blocked, but it comes back here, and Graham Mulcahy, quick as a flash, drills it over the bar. A third for him. Very important score. And now it's probably important for Limerick to get the next one.
Yeah, we've seen 2 number 13s on the top of their game today. Alan Cadigan on one end of the field and Graham Mulcahy on the other end. Fantastic for small men, great pace and great scoring. 3 points apiece.
Really good quality contest. Bill Cooper again, picking up the breaks. How many times has he done that? And his use of possession so good. Seamus Harnedy on fire in the second half. The goal scorer now has got another one. Goal and 2 points for Harnedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the movement again. He's come across from the other wing. He's wearing number 12, but he's been playing at right half forward. And Bill Cooper again, he's involved in everything that Cork have done. That's a goal and 9 points now from that half forward line.
They've gone point for point, but Limerick do not seem to be able to bridge that gap beyond 2 points. Harnedy again, this time kicking it forward. Back comes Paul Brown. He was man of the match when these teams met in the league. Then it ended in a draw at the end of February. Only a goal in it here. Lost there by Seamus Hickey. Recovered by Daniel Carney. All the way in towards Páirc O'Sullivan. Wrong footing. Condon and rolling it into the net. And Cork get a second goal. And Páirc O'Sullivan, the man who's come back from a dreadful leg break last year, has come in, and he may well have sealed this one. Páirc O'Sullivan getting his 6th ever championship goal here.
A great catch, he got inside his man. Look how cool he was with the finish. He knew all along he had that confidence, but Limerick should have cleared that ball up the field. Again, Seamus Hickey caught in possession, and they've no one to blame only themselves for that one.
222 to 22 points. Very high scoring. It's going to be a free in for Limerick. They have 5 minutes left to hang on to their Munster crown from last year and retain it in 2014. It's a tall order. Will they go for a goal here? I'd imagine they'll have to.
They'll go for a goal, and I think hang on is the operative word there. They've been hanging on all this half. The movement and pace and athleticism of the Cork forwards has been incredible.
Dowling decides it's too far out. There are too many bodies in there. He's happy to put it over. It's an 11th for him. An amazingly big tally. Cork will wonder too about all the frees they have conceded, of course, when they look ahead to the next stage of the championship. because we'll be seeing both of these sides later on in the summer. One in the quarter-final, one in the semi. At the moment, it's advantage Cork. Batted out by Stephen Walsh, and I think he caught a little knock on the face that time as the hurleys were going up to try and get that loose ball. 4 minutes are left here. 5 points between the teams. This is going to be cut in by Aidan Walsh. Well, I'm sure he thought about trying to put it over from a direct sideline cut. Maybe he will yet. I think he fancies it. He does. No, not going to work out there. He's had 3 so far. Hasn't managed any of them. So another change is being made, and on comes number 18, Cathal King. This is a Limerick change. Cathal King from the Páirc, and the player going off is Gavin O'Mahony. It's a day when Limerick have had to replace their 2 wing backs. That tells its own story. It tells the story of how Conor Lehane and Seamus Harnedy excelled for Cork today. The next free will be just about 50 metres out for Shane Dowling to strike. 11 points is an enormous tally, but there's a job to be done still, and they're going to need a goal. It's a 12th.
Yeah, just keeping them hanging in there, Gerard. There's only 4 points in it. You know, they haven't gone away. That's in credit to Limerick throughout the game. They look to have been hanging on in the second half, but when they get the ball up the field, they're still creating chances.
From this next Cork puck out, breaks down for Aidan Walsh, going back, going around, making an angle, making space, the mark of a good player. He made a really good angle for himself, and he's got a second, a point in each half, and that'll banish the memory of last Sunday's disappointment with the footballers. He's back with a bang with the hurlers.
Yeah, tremendous score, Jerry. He's covered a huge amount of ground throughout. He's had a hand in quite a number of scores, and 2 great points as well from playing it.
22, Tom Ryan has come on in place of Kevin Downs, rather. Daniel Carney gets a second chance inside his own 65-metre line. Big spaces, alarming gaps in that Limerick defence. Horgan runs up to it. Caught by Walsh, no doubt about it. In. And this can once again put 2 clear goals between the teams, and Cork looks set to win the Munster crown for the first time since 2006.
Yeah, fantastic ball in again by Daniel Carney. You know, with the movement there, Horgan showed for it. He played a lovely ball, just bounced up in front of him, and he took it round his man, and he'll just tap this over the bar now, put 6 points between them again.
Stephen Moylan's come on. Horgan hits. 8 for him. Thoroughly satisfying afternoon. So that's the announcement that Stephen Moylan's going on, and the player going off is going to be Alan Cadigan. He'll have enjoyed his first ever Munster hurling final, and he's a hurler come footballer. The footballers have also had an eye out for him. Very good player, plays under 21 this year. Limerick trying to advance there. It was Tom Ryan for a moment, closed down by MacDonald. After a nervous, jittery opening 15 minutes, Cork will be very satisfied with their afternoon's work here in this year's Munster hurling final. Graham Mulcahy pleading that it should be a line ball the other way. James Owens as the linesman on the near side. This is going to be taken by Aidan Walsh. So almost into stoppage time. Walsh cutting it. Again, Bill Cooper. Got on the ball time and again. Harnedy. What a successful second half it's been for him in spite of that latest miss there by Seamus Harnedy. Cork smiles all around the place. They know this game is theirs now at this stage. Cathal King hitting it out. 1 minute of stoppage time being played. loads of solid defenders back there right now. One of them is Chris Joyce. I know of two men who came from Cavan to see him play, Michael Wall and his son John. All the way down, that's gone, and that ball's gone out over the end line. There'll be celebrations everywhere and anywhere. It's been a long time, 8 years since Cork last won a Munster crown. This match being not just in Ireland but Australia as well, many parts of the world where there are Cork fans. Limerick fans will be disappointed. Out they come again. Mark Ellis dispossessed. Graham Mulcahy trying to turn, playing it back here. Limerick looking for another score. James Ryan in there as far as David Breen. And the captain, Donal O'Grady, has it blocked down by William Egan. They wait for the final whistle. There it is! Cork are the champions of Munster hurling after a gap of 8 years. Victory on their own patch. Victory for JBM and his squad. Celebrating Seanie McGrath there and so many more. Silverware at last after a long, barren period for the fans. Limerick must head for the quarterfinals, and at least they're in the last 6. The managers shake hands, TJ Ryan and JBM, two gentlemen of the sport, but they're champions at last. And how they will look forward now to the rest of the All-Ireland Series, champions for the 52nd time and heading for the All-Ireland semi-finals. There's the Munster Cup, and that man has been to many and many a game, and the fans come in and have their celebration. They've been part of the history of this ground today, where Cork have won the Munster title. Final score, Cork 224, Limerick 24 points. Someday, Michael.
Yeah, Gerard, great win. It's hard to believe, for a county like Cork, 8 years since they won a Munster championship, but a tremendous win. You'd have to say their backs had, Limerick had a great start. They could have gone further up, but once Cork came to grips with them, I think at the back and started to provide more ball into their forwards, they gradually took over. But you'd have to say that the performance of the Cork half forward line today is as good as I've ever seen. Conor Lahan, Bill Cooper and Seamus Harnedy, they scored 1-9 between them. Alan Cadigan was a big threat inside, as was Pat Horgan, but those three men were tremendous. Their movement, their athleticism, backed up by Aidan Walsh and Carney in the middle of the field. So great day for Cork, great way to go out, I think, on a high note. Páirc is going to be redeveloped now, a huge job starting here later on in the year, and well done to Cork, tremendous.
Yes, well done to Cork.
They will be delighted.
They'll celebrate here, they'll celebrate all over around the world. I know Catherine Holohan in London is celebrating. Let's go back to Michael Lester.
And it is their day today. Cyril Farrell, what a great scene it is here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. And we said before the match that it would be, I know Limerick people wouldn't agree with it, but from a Cork perspective, it would be fitting for them, if you like, to finish up here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh winning this title.
Yeah, I know it doesn't always work out like this, but there was a feeling, even after last year, that this Cork team had to get some silverware somewhere. They didn't get any Munster title last year, didn't win anything in the All-Ireland Series, very nearly last buck of the game, draw game. Now today, there was a mission to do, and you just had the feeling, boys said at half-time, whoever got the goal, the whole crowd, roughly 40,000, were waiting for this explosion to come. And sure enough, Páirc comes on, gets a chance, sticks in the back net. Big call, take off the captain more or less just after half-time, Páirc going, and maybe he was sick or injured or something. Páirc comes on and he sticks it. Now the second half, Bill Cooper, Seamus Harnedy, they came right into the game there forward. Now first half in the handle, but all the Cork forwards, once they got supply ball, were scoring from out the field and inside. Aidan Welsh, powerhouse midfield, and Daniel Carney. But Limerick did the very same thing. Limerick had worked so hard in the first time, Michael, in the first half. It was very hard for Limerick to keep up the tempo, because to me they should have been up 5 or 6 at half time when they weren't it was an uphill battle. Now they're still Dowling and these lads. Breen had a great game. Paul Brown, they powerful stuff. The half back line, say Wayne McNamara especially. Now, the two wing backs got caught, but that's going to happen. Even McCarthy full back, they gave everything. They died out there in their boot tree, but just on the day, Cork were that bit slicker. And the big thing was, again, the chances that Cork got, they were capable of getting scores quicker than Limerick, and that was the big difference in the end.
All right, lads, Jimmy Barry Murphy was playing in that first game that Cork won here, the first Munster final against Limerick in 1976. He managed this Cork team today. He joins us now here in the programme. JBM, many congratulations to you. I know that 12 months ago was a disappointing day down in Limerick, but your lads have certainly made up for that this afternoon.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, they certainly did. Last year we had a hard year, I suppose, in many ways. A fantastic year, you think, in other ways, but losing 2 finals was hard for the lads to take, in fairness to them, but they've bounced back great this year, and I suppose like last year was disappointing, but it's great to get some silverware at last, and very, very proud for the players and their families. It's great for them.
Jimmy, it was all square at half-time. I was reminding the lads here in the studio, we had a replay and extra time, of course, last night and the week before and so on. This has turned out to be a dramatic hurling year as well. How did you feel at half-time?
We were happy enough, Michael, to be level at half-time. We didn't think we played particularly well, and Limerick had a couple of wides as well, which they leading by 2 or 3 or 4 points at half-time. So I thought the scoreline did maybe flatter us a small bit at half-time, but we took a while to get going in the second half, had some very, very bad wides, and I just thought, as Cyril said there, we tended to get our scores that bit easier in the second half. The breeze was a bit stronger than people might realise in the stands as well, and the goals obviously were a crucial difference at the end of the day.
Jimmy, the lads here in studio, Cyril, Liam and Ger, want to congratulate you. Cyril has a question for you.
Jimmy, congrats.
Thanks, Cyril.
Jimmy, was Páirc Cronin injured, or was it a call to take him off? Paddy O'Sullivan came on, 2 great hurlers. Just want to know, was he injured?
No, he's a cracked bone in his leg. We think it's fairly serious, so we just tried. We were going to give him Dr. Concept of one look at him, but then it was just gone, so he had to come off.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy, listen, he had his work done at that stage.
Exactly.
Congratulations to you, well done, and congratulations to all the team.
Thanks, lads.
Jimmy Barry Murphy, of course, the Cork hurling manager. Liam Sheedy, what a great scene down here. Whatever happened to this thing about not allowing people on the pitch, by the way?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's great. I mean, I was lucky enough to be in a similar situation when I was involved with the team in Munster. I mean, it's a great occasion, and we're very, very lucky in the last 2 years. I mean, we've seen it when Limerick won it in 2013, and now we've seen it in Cork. And to be fair to this Cork team, they've been involved in so many big games and haven't come out on top. But the man that we interviewed earlier, he deserves huge credit for what he's done with this panel. He's more or less rebuilt this team from scratch. And I mean, a lot of people come in for maybe some criticism because of moving on some players maybe that were coming to the end of their careers. But he's built this team, and what a job he's done it, and they're fully deserving of their victory today.
They are, and we have to remind ourselves, Gerlach, now, 2006 since they won this cup, it's not that they're winning it every second year.
Well, that is the big point about today. They can now draw a line through all those strikes, the damage that was done by the strikes, the divisiveness that was in Cork hurling. It's all over now. That's all behind them. Yeah. The crowd are back, the good humour is back, the good hurling is back, a new team is back.
They're in the All-Ireland semi-final.
They're in the All-Ireland semi-final. And above all, I think the biggest thing that will satisfy Jimmy today is those new players he has brought in. Mark Ellis at centre-back, Aidan Walsh at midfield, and the whole Bill Cooper even at centre-forward. Very, very good today. The whole structure of that team has improved so much from last year, and even the way they're playing is so solid. And this year, as opposed to last year, they are now real contenders. They have won this cup, but their eyes, I think, are on the bigger prize later on.
Bigger figure.
I can tell you, lads, at the moment, their eyes are on that cup up there in the stand. Let's go back to Ger for the presentation of the trophy.
Michael, they're listening to Robert Frost, who is chairman of the Munster Council, who is a Clare man, probably very disappointed tonight, but performing his official function now. Michael Noonan, Minister for Finance, still there alongside. Jerry O'Sullivan's the man on the right-hand side of Robert Frost, and he is the father of Páirc O'Sullivan, who got that second goal today to really wrap it up, I think, and confirm Cork's victory. So Robert Frost about to make the presentation. Here we go.
Captain Kevin Corky, Patrick Cronin.
So Robert Frost hands over the Munster Cup to Patrick Cronin from Bishopstown, Cork's captain. Cork are the champions. He's the first Cork man to lift that trophy since Pat Mulcahy did it back in 2006. Cork are the champions. They advanced to the semi-final. Anthony Nash alongside him there and Patrick Horgan. They are the champions, and they're going to enjoy it, Michael.
Oh, they are for sure. Gerlach Nan, you know what that feeling is like?
To lift that cup here in Páirc Keevan, and isn't it so fitting? All that Cork have contributed to the GAA and the hurling especially, that they should lift the cup on the last day here in Páirc Keevan. It's a real fitting into it. Tough look on Páirc Cronin there that had to go off during the game. But what an impact Páirc O'Sullivan had when he came on.
Let's hear the captain's speech.
Ball up wake is a go ball and fear and banish it to Corky. Quishta Kunte Corky. Chill. The club na. Unluckily Luna. August Gohora Panelu Duckshaw. Corky a boo. Rebels a boo. The Rebels are back! It's a huge honour for me to accept this cup on behalf of this wonderful panel of Cork players and to be part of the last ever Cork senior hurling team to lift this cup in this wonderful stadium. There's a lot of people I have to thank for today's victory. I'll start off with our backroom team, our two masseurs, Richie Mooney and Mark O'Donnell. I'd like to thank our kit man, Pat Keane. Our statistic analyst, Sean O'Donnell. Our physical trainer, Dave Matthews. Our goalkeeping coach, Brian Hurley. Our great physio, Declan O'Sullivan. And the great Dr. Con Murphy. I'd also like to thank Tommy Lynch for everything he's done throughout the years since the stadium opened in 1976, our groundsman for Páirc Chaoimh. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Chill Insurance, for everything they've done throughout the year so far. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our management, Shawnee McGrath, Johnny Crowley, and our great team trainer, Kieran Kingston. Finally, to the man who's led us back to Munster glory once more. He played in the very first game here in 1976, and 38 years later has brought us back as Munster champions again. The great JBM, Jimmy Barry Murphy. Lastly, I'd like to thank this great Limerick team. We've built up a great rivalry with them over the last 2 years, and hopefully again we'll meet in Croke Park come September. 3 cheers for Limerick. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Thank you.
Well, there will be great celebrations around Bishopstown and elsewhere in Cork tonight, so well done to Pa Cronin and his colleagues. The question now, I suppose, Liam Sheedy, is can Cork push on from this? Because we have to remind ourselves, we're talking about the fact that this is their first Munster title since 2006, but they were the beaten All-Ireland finalists last year.
Yeah, they were. I think they're stronger this year. They're campaigners. I think they've learnt a lot in their last season. I think they've still got areas to improve on. I think Patrick Horgan just didn't give them enough from general play today. You'd have to expect him to be given more. He was well marshalled. Likewise, Alan Cadigan, I felt on a few occasions, took the wrong option. You know, when it gets to really tight matches, you've got to make sure you take those right calls.
But isn't it a sign of a good team if one or two lads are having maybe a bit of an off day by their own standards, as they say, then somebody else steps up to the plate?
Absolutely. But I mean, any team that goes to take these boys on the shootout is in big trouble, you know, because they have serious class in that foul line. I think Michael Dylan called it out. Like, their half foul line today was immense, and that's a really, really good Limerick half back line. But their movement, and I actually felt on the warm day, they were still bursting with energy. You know, Seamus Harnedy got the ball, there was a few lads coming at him, but he had the power to drive on, and they had full tanks. I felt, you know, this is a young team, this is an up and coming team, and let me tell you, these are serious All-Ireland contenders. But again, for Limerick, you know, Misty, when they look back and you know, they missed opportunities in that first half. They should have pushed on. They should have been 5-6 points up, and you know, as it turned out in the second half, like, they're going to meet the winners of Wexford and Watford the next day. There's every chance. I think this is a really good Limerick team. Limerick are far from finishing this championship, I'd feel, as well.
I remember last year, Cyril, Jimmy Barry Murphy making the point before Limerick's All-Ireland semi-final. He said, you know, they're going to find the Croke Park experience difficult to cope with. They're not used to that. He turned out to be right. They'll be more experienced this year. They're a little bit further down the road, even though they lost today.
Yeah, but the thing, it's perfectly true. They played in 2 All-Ireland finals last year, which is a big plus. They have no medal out, but they have after today, and they'll be hungry from last year. And I even think there today, like, I was delighted for the likes of Aidan Wedge, because the football game last weekend, you think he lost on his own. Thrilled for him like that. He came back to himself the way he can play. we were talking about the weaknesses. Cahallan was still caught out. He played wing back. He was caught out a lot under the ball. Now the Brahan Willem Egan, I don't know what he didn't play full back really at all. But like they have the scoring power. The physical thing maybe will kind of catch them maybe a little bit in. But like they've changed every line except the goalkeeper. Full back line's changed from last year. Half back line, midfield, half forward line, and corner forward line. So like they have 5 new personal players on, and it's a lot of the team. It's a third, so they are going places, and they will fence themselves to go on the whole way.
But one thing
in the background here, by the way, the banks is getting the full treatment here, and everybody is joining in.
But one thing you've done about Limerick, though, Michael, is like it is 6 weeks since they played a game. They came out of Division 2. They produced this big burst against Tipperary, right? Won that game, but they've had nothing since. So they have very little top-class hurling. Now Cork, in the meantime, apart from this here behind us, they have 3 big matches played coming into the day, so they have a lot of match practice. I think Limerick will really benefit from this, because we were looking here with 20 minutes to go, we said Limerick are out on their feet, especially their midfielders. Now that's not a lack of fitness, it's really a lack of match practice. So they get a quarter final, maybe if they win that, then when they go to Croke Park, or if they go to Croke Park this year, they'll be much better prepared than they were last year.
But I think the fitness thing, as you said, they were fit enough, but they put such much effort in the first half. They got no real reward for it. Even Jim Barry referred to there. They were happy to have to go to Cork because they've done very little work compared to Limerick. Limerick had worked their socks off.
No, you're right.
Yes, only 12 points.
You're right, Sal. But having done that, what comes against you then? Your lack of match practice. That's what wears you out in the last 20 minutes.
Fatigue comes into them, because when you're not scoring,
the more match practice you get, look at Wexford. Look at the way they last extra time. They're out of Division 2. Look at all the matches they got, how they've improved. Look at the way they could last extra time last night. This game will really benefit Limerick. So it's still in their hands. They're not out of it. They won the Munster last year. Their aim is to get to Croke Park this year. So
they may get their day, but we say congratulations to Cork, Munster hurling champions for 2014. We will have more reaction and analysis of their victory after this break.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
It's a race against time in the Ultimate Family Challenge. The parents must get physical.
Who is brave enough to take on this challenge?
Oh my God!
You'll be put in a shark cage and lowered in with a hook.
But it's the kids who call the shots.
Listen to us. Are you trying to lose?
You're hilarious.
Watch the fuse. You're going to run out of time.
Which team will crack the code first?
It's the number 6. Put 6 on the thing.
A new series of Shakedown the Town starts Saturday at 8:10 on RTE1.
Irish women are going places. Sure, we've all heard the jokes about parallel parking and the rest.
But we're saying cheerio to cliche, so long to stereotype.
We know we drive more safely than guys, sometimes in some pretty challenging footwear.
We're not asked for directions. And so what if I want to give my car a name?
So whether we're heading to Mayo or Rio, we all want to protect what's precious to us. It's for women going places.
It's for women.ie, online insurance for women.
Normally we talk about our services, but today we have a really important safety message for you. Your windscreen contributes up to 34% of the structural integrity of your vehicle. This is what could happen with a badly fitted windscreen. Independent research concludes that up to 89,000 vehicles on Irish roads could have unsafe windscreen installations. Auto glass will never compromise in your safety. Okay. For safe glass replacement, always call Auto Glass.
Auto Glass Repair, Auto Glass Replace.
Get ready to meet great singles near you at Match.ie. Successfully pairing singles since 2004. Join free today.
When you've tasted success as an elite athlete, the biggest challenge you face is staying hungry. No, seriously, it's very difficult. But these nutritious sandwich tins from Johnson, Mooney & O'Brien, they do the job. Delish. Delicious, nutritious sandwich tins. New from Johnson, Mooney & O'Brien.
Dedication, loyalty,
You guys are getting better at this, yeah. Next week, buddy.
friendship. The choices we make
reveal the true nature of our character.
Cork are the Munster hurling champions of 2014 after their victory over Limerick. That's the scene in the Cork dressing room after that match. This afternoon here at Páirc, Chaoimh, of course, it finished Cork 2 goals in 24 points to 24 points. The stats in that game were pretty much level at half-time, but in the second half, well, the stats will show us that Cork began to pull away from their rivals in terms of scoring chances, and so on, and indeed puckouts as well, won by them. Right, that's what the fellow with the stats machine tells us, but there were a couple of other stats as well in that game that had a big influence on it. Cyril, Harnady's goal set Cork on their way.
Well, this guy came from UCC last year, St. Easter's club here in Cork, and he kind of broke on the scene in Fitzgibbon hurling. The picture from there. This guy, he has pace and he's great scoring ability. Second half, he had a powerful display altogether. Ball comes down here, long puck out. Now, good bit to do here. He actually breaks through. Look at 1, 2, 3, 3 tackles, but there's no full look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 yards in front of him. Now, once he sees that, he goes right now. Look, goes left again, and bang, left hand gives Quaid no chance. But the question is, where, like Richie McCarthy, they'd gone out after their minutes. Once he made his tackle, once he got through here, he broke 3 tackles there, and then when he swerved inside, no one in front of him at all. Gave Quaid no chance. So, like, it's just when a player like that breaks a tackle, there's very little he can do. He gets back, he has both sides left-handed. Now, the boys saying at half-time that the game needed a goal. That excited the whole 40,000 roughly that was here. Once that goal went in, you felt it was Cork's day. Whoever got the first goal, but that they were driving on and they were getting them scores easier. And he kind of set it up for Cork to win. Really, he had a great game. The half hour then got 1-9 between it from play. That's a lot, like in any game.
Paddy O'Sullivan was given his chance in that second half of that match, and he will have enjoyed the goal that he got.
Yeah, he really picked off a goal and a point after coming in, you know, and like we spoke about him before the match, he's an exceptional player, but great work here. I thought Daniel Carney, like, that's a fantastic flick, and that just, you know, the defence is caught unawares then, but Paul, you know, no better man. If Jimmy Barry Murphy, I think if he was given a choice to know who he'd want to get that ball in there, I don't think he'd choose anyone else other than Paddy O'Sullivan, because he's just ultra cool. There's no big swing or anything, he just shortened it up, low ball into the ground, fantastic goal. And as I said, you know, great for Paddy personally. He's endured a lot, Michael. He went to come back last year. They thought he might make it back for the All-Ireland final. You know, breaking the leg is a big deal. I'm not sure if the plates are even still out of the leg, but you know, I think personally for Paddy, I'm delighted to see him coming in and getting a chance to play the part and seeing Cork winning the Munster Championship today. It's great for him personally.
We all echo that. There's no question about that. Ger, Limerick did get their chances. Cork got their chances and took them. Limerick got a chance or two that, if they carried the ball maybe further,
I suppose you could say a half chance is more than
half chances, exactly, yes.
Full chances. Now, if anything epitomises the change in Cork from last year, it is this. You know, look at all the Cork defenders that are coming back. Last year, in front of their goals that we showed before the semi-final, wide open. This time, all drifting back into defence, coming back. No chance of anybody getting a clear shot at goal. Long ball coming in here again, very reliant today on these well, here's Kevin Downs, but Shane Dowling was their main danger man today. David Breen tried very hard as well to give him due, especially in the first half. Now look at all the Cork defenders that are back there. Now if you contrasted that to last year and the space that was in there last year, you know, this shows how much Cork have learned from that skinning they got from the Clare forwards last year. Mark Ellis, I was watching him there, he just doesn't leave the centre. And when the ball comes in, he's back into the 21. He's back into the square, minding the house. In the whole game today, Limerick never got a shot at Anthony Nash. You know, Cork got 2 shots at the other goalie, and they buried 2 goals. In the end, 224 to 24 points. You know, as Cyril has always said so often, goals win matches. But that just shows you how strong that structure of the Cork defence has got from last year, and that is what will give them real confidence going forward.
All right, so let's hear from the Limerick manager, TJ Ryan. He's talking with Damien O'Mara.
TJ, obviously bitterly disappointing over the balance of the 70 minutes. Can you have any complaints? No, I think, like I said, we probably scored 24 points. It was great scoring. As I said, from our point of view, our lads gave it everything. The first goal was going to be critical. I mean, they got it, good score, and no qualms. But at the end of the day, I think they got just slightly edged on the day, in fairness to them.
On the balance of the first half, should you have been in a stronger position at the break?
Yeah, possibly looking back. We had a couple of good chances there. I missed a few frees and stuff like on the day. And those things can happen. You know what I'm saying? It's a pressure cooker. It's a tough day. You know what I'm saying? But in fairness to our lads, credit to them. They really battled, gave it everything they had, and you know what I'm saying, on the day, just came up a little bit short.
We spoke before the game about the possible impact of the air miles the two sides had built up in advance of today's game. Did it cost you in the end?
Hard to know, you know what I'm saying. I suppose when you lose, you're going to have a look at everything. As I said, look, to win matches, you have to take every single chance that comes your way. Maybe Cork were maybe a little bit slicker in front of goals. You know what I'm saying? They took the goal chances very well. We probably had 2 major turnovers there in the second half, which were critical points in the game. I thought we were hanging in there very well. But look, as I said, on the day, look, I think Cork said, trying to beat them down here is very, very difficult. You know what I'm saying? They just proved to be that in the day. And look, in fairness to our fellas, look, no fault to them. They gave it everything.
But as the lads in the studio have been saying, this is a squad that has great belief, and you know you still have a key role to play in this championship.
Oh yeah, it's our job now as a backroom team to pick things up. We're about to get in 2 weeks' time. You know what I'm saying? And still a good opportunity there. In fairness to Cork last year, when they lost the Munster final, they picked the pieces up and came very close to winning the All-Ireland. So we know it's at stake. We know what we have to do, and I'll tell you, rattle off it yet.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you.
TJ Ryan there. You know, the thing about it is, Liam, you always look for body language out of a manager after a game, particularly obviously when they're beaten.
Yeah.
He's obviously disappointed. He's not despondent. You feel he knows there's more in this team yet.
Yeah, I think he does, and I think he's done a fantastic job. I think, you know, they epitomise what TJ was like when he on the field himself. You know, that's the type of game that they play, and he'd be very happy with that. You know, it's very much heart on the sleeve is what they do, and you know, he will be, when he looks back, he will know that they had the chances. But you can see already he's thinking about, you know, the 27th of July. We've got a chance. We're going to be playing the winners of a team from next weekend. You know, and they know that they can still have a big say in this championship. So I mean, for Limerick to get back in, if they got a chance to get back into the semi-final, you know what, because they didn't perform in there last year, I think it would be a huge boost for them. They would be very, very dangerous. So if they're fully focused, I would imagine, on Sunday week, because you know they all have a Munster medal. Ultimately, they want to play in Croke Park in September, and that chance is not gone in Limerick yet, in my view.
He talked about, he will of course go back and have a look at that game. Gerard, there'll be 1 or 2 things in it when he does look at it that he won't like. Well, turnovers was one of them, because you can't be doing this.
TJ was spot on there, turnovers. Now, turnovers, of course, there's 2 aspects of the turnovers. One is the team that's attacking you, that has the ball, you know, not releasing at the right time. The other aspect is brilliant play by the opposition. And I think it's a combination of the two here. Maybe Limerick's like a match practice, but Cork's turnover rate today was just exceptional. You know, I get the feeling as a Cork are on a real mission this year. And where they were weak last year, they were very weak on the turnovers. They were very weak on the tackle last year. We've said about the structure of the team, but they were very, very weak on the tackle. They are brilliant on the tackle this year. You know, their flicks and their blocking, their flicking, their support play, their crowding the man in possession are vastly improved from this.
I think what they've improved this well is their body position that they're tackling.
Yeah.
Mark Ellis put his body in there. From the 2 big turnovers, there was a goal by Paddy and a point by Pat Horgan. A goal and a point, and TJ had it very well read. Like, to be fair to him after the match, he's confident of beating either Wexford or Waterford. He's worried, but he knows if he gets his team right, they're capable of winning it, and he's already thinking ahead, and he knows he put his finger in there. They didn't take their chances, whereas Cork, the chances they got, even in the first half chance got their points. When the goals came, they got 2 chances of goals. One of them was a turnover, but stuck both of them, whereas Limerick had kind of half chance, but they got neither of them. So he'll be still very positive, and as the boys say here, if they get to Croke Park, they'll be still very hard to beat it, because the night will come, maybe even tomorrow morning, they're still back in the they're not out of the champions, completely different. You compare that last night to Clare being beaten below in Wexford, where they're throwing themselves in the ground, gave it everything, but like they're gone for the game, whereas Limerick aren't.
Well, it's been a good day for the footballers of Mayo and of course the hurlers of Cork. Now, it could be a good day for you as well. If you're interested in going to this year's All-Ireland hurling final, I suspect you might be. Here's your chance in our latest Sunday game competition.
We've teamed up with Etihad Airways, proud sponsor of the GAA Hurling Championship, to give you and a friend the chance to attend this year's All-Ireland Hurling Final in Croke Park on September 7th. This great prize includes 2 nights accommodation in Dublin and €1,000 spending money too. For your chance to win the lot, answer this. In which year did Kilkenny last win the Lee McCarthy Cup? Was it 2002, 2006 or 2012? To enter, call 15 16 71 71 74 or text the word hurling followed by your answer and name to 57001. Viewers in the north can also text to 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Monday, July 14th. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
Best of luck with that, and just a reminder that that is midday tomorrow. Now, earlier today we saw Mayo claim the Connacht football title with their victory over Galway in Castlebar. Let's hear from both camps after today's clash.
Well, James, a 7-point win and Mayo's 4th Connacht title in a row, the first since 1951, so you must be a very happy manager this evening.
Yeah, look, we're delighted and immensely proud of that achievement. You know, four Connacht titles in a row, having beaten every team over the last 4 years is a great achievement, and we're very proud of it. And you know, I suppose what it does give us is now it gives us a chance to play in a quarter final, and so we'll enjoy it today, absolutely no doubt, and we'll enjoy tonight, and we'll just look forward to the next game, which is a great place to be.
Obviously, we disappointed that we didn't win the game. I suppose, you know, after the first half, we were well down, and we asked the lads to dig deep in the second half. So I suppose, you know, we lost the game. I was happy with our performance in the second half in particular. I was happy the way that we took the game to Mayo. You know, we let in a couple of goals in the second half we shouldn't have, and we had a couple of goal chances that we should have got, or we could have got. So if you take those out of it, it would have been a closer game, obviously. But you know, overall, kind of mixed feelings. I think it leaves us in a decent position going into the qualifiers. We came into Mayo up to Castlebar, their support, and a little bit kind of nervy, I think, starting off the game. But I think once we settled into it, we showed that we're not far off this pace.
Yeah.
OK, and you can see a review of the action from Castlebar on the latest edition of the Sunday game tonight. Also, highlights from here in Cork and qualifier action in football and hurling. And it all begins at 10:30 on RTE2 television. And the draw for the next round of the football qualifiers and hurling quarterfinals takes place tomorrow morning, just after 8:30 on RTE Radio 1. That's during the Morning Ireland programme. Now, looking forward to next week, we will round off the provincial finals for 2014. Will Dublin win their 4th Leinster title in a row, or can Meath lift the Delaney Cup, having lost the last 2 finals to the Dubs? We'll be live in Croke Park for that one. And then that's followed by the Ulster decider, a repeat of last year, as Donegal and Monaghan go head-to-head for the Anglo-Celt Cup. It all begins 1:30 next Sunday on RTE2. OK, that's it for today. My thanks to Cyril, to Liam and to Ger for their contribution to the programme this afternoon. Well, the gates now close on this old stadium for a final time, but Cork leave here with a valuable memento, the Munster Hurling Championship trophy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time.